Have you ever been in a room with a guy you're interested in, hoping that he would approach you? Doesn't it get so frustrating though when you feel like no matter what it is you do, he still doesn't get the hint and just say hello? Well, what if I told you there's actually a secret formula to making a man feel like approaching you is the easiest decision he'll make all day? Which is exactly why on today's show, we're going to be discussing the full guide to getting a guy to approach you. That way, not only will he notice you, but you'll create an environment that will make approaching you almost impossible not to do. For point number one, we're going to talk about helping him. Now, what am I specifically referring to? Let me reintroduce that. For point number one, we're going to talk about helping him. What I want you to help him with is specifically the idea that you have to know for men, they also have their own fears, okay? Even though we're supposed to be manly, masculine men, and back in the day we would hunt animals down and bring them back to you, we are a little bit soft in some ways as well. We have our own anxieties and fears as well. You, as a woman, are one of those anxieties and fears. Why? Because we do want to approach you. We do want to come up to you. We do want to ask for your number. But at the same time, we also don't want to feel rejected, right? Because even though it sounds very silly, in our minds, we're worried that if we approach you and when we finally approach you, we're like, hey, I think you're cute. I'd love to get your number. That your response will be, ew, you're ugly, right? Even though it sounds really irrational because you're probably thinking, why would anyone be that rude in me? In our minds, we're thinking that's like the nightmare. That's like the worst case scenario. I might go up to her. She might tell me I'm ugly. She might even say, you know what I mean? Like, you're broke. Right? She might overall humiliate me. Okay? Right? So I know all of these are very irrational fears, but just like you have your own irrational fears, us as men, we have our own irrational fears as well. So there's certain things that even though they don't make sense because you're thinking, I'm not that mean, I'm not that nasty, even if I didn't like a guy, I would never reject him in a way that's humiliating. That is one of the fears in our minds. And that can become one of the roadblocks that stop us from actually approaching you. So the reason that I titled this first point about helping him is because I want you to start creating an environment with the understanding of some of our already existing fears and anxieties to make the process of us approaching you a lot easier because we can eliminate these fears and anxieties, okay, right? So the strategy is going to consist of basically reading a man's mind and the type of things he'll be saying to himself, the type of questions he'll be asking himself, and the way that you can answer those questions in a way that will make him confident that when I go up to her, she's not going to be like, ew, you're ugly, you're disgusting, and humiliate him, okay, and make him feel horrible for approaching you, okay? So that's exactly what we're trying to do here. We're trying to help the man not feel like you're gonna humiliate him when he finally comes up to ask for your number. Even though I know it's an irrational fear, trust me, it is a fear of men, okay? Let's hop into our point number two. All right. Okay, I'm going to draw out our visual here. And this one, I actually want all of you to participate. So make sure every one of you is paying attention in the chat because I'm going to ask you a question and it requires you to be paying attention to what my face looks like, okay? Okay, so for this point here, for point number two, we're going to be discussing the billboard. All right. Now, I told you, all of you need to be paying attention in the chat. I'm going to ask you a question. Everyone has to participate and answer. I'm going to give you two different facial expressions. Okay. And from your own perspective, imagine we're at some sort of event. Okay. And you're seeing my face from your own perspective. I want you to tell me which facial expression will feel more inviting to you. Okay. Either it's going to be face number one or it's going to be face number two. So when I give you both faces, you need to tell me which one makes you feel more invited to come to me and talk to me and have a conversation with me, okay? So this is face number one. See how you feel about that? Now, I'm going to do face number 2. Now, everyone participate and tell me which face of those 2 faces made you feel more invited to come up to me and have a conversation with me. Everyone has to participate here. There's a very important point that we're going to discuss here, okay? Someone said neither, okay? Face number 2, I see a lot of 2s. First is me all the time, okay? None. Face number 2 looks more friendly, okay? 2 is curious. Face 2 is calmer, okay? Number 2. Some people said neither. All right. Now, if you had to choose one, okay, that's what my question should have been. Okay. Now, I want to ask you guys a question after that question. Why does face number 2, because the majority of people are saying face number 2, why does face number 2 make you feel more invited to talk to me versus face number 1? I want all of you to participate and be descriptive. What did it make you feel? Why did you come to the conclusion that face number 2 was more inviting? Okay, because I saw someone else earlier someone said face number 2 is calmer. Face number 2 looks a little bit curious, wondrous, looking sweet. You look happy. I would want to have a conversation with you. Okay, less intimidating, friendly. Okay, looks more interesting, more open and curious. Okay, 2 is curious, slight smile, more casual, more open. Okay, so the reason I say that is because this is a perfect example of micro expressions, okay? So a lot of you said face number 2 was intimidating, right? In the sense that like, didn't really look like you wanted to be here, didn't really look like you were enjoying your time. I see someone else say something that I thought was funny, and we'll talk about this, right? Someone said RBF. RBF stands for resting, B, face, okay? B just stands for B word, like the B word that you don't want to be called by a guy, okay? So that's what RBF is. Some of you might have a natural existing RBF, okay? We'll discuss that in a second, all right? Other people just said overall, it's just less inviting. And what were some of the things that people said about face number 2? Looks more curious, looks more sweet, you look happy to be here. Okay. Now, the reason that I called these micro expressions is because my face isn't really that different. It's not necessarily the difference between frown, complete despair and sadness, and complete joy over the moon, I'm laughing, I'm giggling. It's like a micro expression change, just in like the way my eyes are sitting, in the way my mouth is sitting, and the way that it kind of communicates a different emotion to you. The reason I want to bring this up is because your face is like a billboard for your emotions, your feelings, and your energy. So the same way that you're taking and calculating a whole bunch of information on my face to make a determination of whether or not I would be an inviting person to talk to is the same thing that men are doing when they're thinking about approaching you. So if you're able to kind of like calculate that and determine the difference between one that's more intimidating and one that's less intimidating, then we have to also recognize that within us, we have to be aware of our billboard and make it so that if we want to be inviting and getting approached by men, that our billboard is sending the message that, hey, we're sweet, we're able to be approached, we're happy, we're feeling good, we're happy to be here. Now, obviously, not every time you're out somewhere, you're going to be necessarily happy to be there. I'm not saying you can't have emotions, but I just want you to understand how this billboard is affecting men's processing of emotions. Because like we talked about in point number 1, we're trying to help him. So he's asking himself questions. He's like, should I approach her? How is she feeling right now? What are my chances of getting rejected, okay? Or getting humiliated versus what are my chances of her saying or giving me her number or her inviting me in or her wanting to speak to me? All of these things he's calculating before he even approaches you. So when we take care of the billboard properly, right? And what does that look like, right? It's just adjusting your face and understanding right now, this is where you kind of might have to practice in the mirror to kind of get an understanding of, do you have a natural RBF? And what does it feel like? on your face when you're not having an RBF. And so when you're practicing in the mirror and you're getting a better understanding and a feel, when you go out, I want you to be self-aware of like, what am I projecting outwardly, right? Am I looking like I hate being here and don't want to be here? That's probably going to affect men's desire to come and approach me because my billboard is saying something very, very different from being inviting, right? And so having that self-awareness and control over that when you go out will definitely change the amount and percentage in which you're getting approached, okay? Does that make sense, right? Are we all on the same page? Let's hop into number 3. Point number 3. Okay. I love that you all participated. That was very good. Very good participation in the classroom. So, point number 3 here. All right. You know what? Since you guys did such a good job participating, I'm going to do another one. I'm going to ask you guys another question here. And we'll discuss this as well, all right? So we'll do it like this. So that it visually will hit how I want it to hit, okay? And then we'll put over here the man. Okay. And okay, we'll do this for now. All right. So for point number 3, we're going to discuss friends. Friends are great, but they can also be bad in certain situations. Let me explain what I mean by that, okay? I'm going to draw out what we can describe here as a bar, right? You have to understand. Let me actually start with this. I want all of you to participate and tell me, if you went out somewhere and you saw yourself a group of 4 or 5 pretty girls versus seeing a group of 1 pretty girl just sitting at the bar by herself, which one would be less intimidating to you? The group of 4 or 5 pretty girls, right, going up to them and just striking a conversation with them, or 1 pretty girl that's just sitting at the bar drinking a drink by herself, looking like she's just enjoying her time? I want all of you to participate. Which one would be more intimidating and which one would be less intimidating, okay? Just 1 girl, okay, right? You'd be less intimidated by 1 girl. Okay, I'll take both, someone said. 1 pretty girl, 1 is very intimidating. Which one? I want you guys to all answer which one is less intimidating. Which one is less intimidating? That's the question I want you guys to answer for me. 1 pretty girl is better. 1 is better, okay? 1 is better. Less is better. 1 is less intimidating. Okay, now, the reason I asked that question, tell me all in the chat, why is 1 girl less intimidating than a group of girls? They're all pretty girls, so why does it matter having 1 versus having 4 or 5, okay? Why do you want the girl to be alone, or why does that feel less intimidating to you? Jojo says less embarrassing, okay? A group is too much, okay, right? I would talk to a group someone is gonna like you, okay, interesting, right? Too much beauty in case of rejection, because the other girls could be mean. Okay, see, I love the participation, because this is great, because you're taking an opportunity to step into a man's world, because these are the same things that he's calculating in his mind when he's thinking about the possibility of experiencing rejection or humiliation in the process of approaching you. See, when you go out with your girlfriends, even though they bring you a lot of joy and a lot of comfort in being around them, which is good, I want that for you, you also have to understand in certain instances, especially as it relates to a man approaching you, that can actually be intimidating even to a man. Because he's thinking, well, when I go up to her, what if she likes me, but all her other girls say, oh, he's ugly, he's nasty. Or they pull her away. Or they say, don't talk to her. Or they say, my friend doesn't want to talk to you, or whatever the case may be. He's also calculating all of those possibilities in his head. Whereas, let's say, hypothetically, you were over here instead, just chilling by the bar by yourself, all of a sudden you become a lot less intimidating to that same guy, and the possibility of him approaching you increases because he's not so worried about what your other friends here, your other pretty and also looking very mean and very intimidating girlfriends might say to him. Okay? So I'm not saying that you go out by yourself and don't be around your girlfriends ever. But what I'm saying is, if you identify a guy that you find interesting in that club, in that bar, in that event, in that whatever, take some moments to separate yourself from the group in a way that will allow him to actually feel invited to approach you without having to be intimidated by the group of people you're around. Okay? Doesn't have to be all the time, but just take your chances and opportunities throughout the time that you're at this event, at this club, at this bar, at this party, whatever, at the gym, wherever it is, so that he can have a chance to actually approach you. That can come when you go and you grab some water at the bar and you just sit there a little bit for a couple of minutes by yourself. That can come if you're at the gym and you go on a different machine than your friend for a little bit, right? Or you're going to the bathroom and you're walking past him. All of these different opportunities you can take to kind of separate yourself from the group and give him the chance to kind of pull you away and have a conversation with you in a way that is much less intimidating. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm using club and bar references because I know you guys will be going to a lot of clubs and bars, and that's the easiest way to understand approaching people. Okay. Does that make sense? Are we on the same page? Right. Someone says, don't girls do that naturally? That's a great question, Alina. See, the thing about it is, if you're someone where you go, when you go out with your girlfriends, you like to really stay with your group. You see, this is the thing, because you're girls, right? So there's nothing unnatural about doing everything together. You'll walk in together, you'll go to the bathroom together, you'll come out of the bathroom together, you'll go to this section over here together, you'll go to the bar together, and it's like, there's no point where you're not glued to your friends. So you have to understand, for some of you, right, you have friendships with your girls that are like that, where you guys just do everything together, you pee together. So, but for the men, if there's no chance to kind of separate you or get you where you're not in a group of 4 or 5 women, that becomes a little bit intimidating to the point where men might actually stop themselves from approaching you because they're just one person or just him and his friend, and he doesn't have the courage to come up to a huge group of pretty women. I know it kind of sucks, but it does happen, okay? Just to let you know. All right, let's hop into point number 4. Okay. Now, since you've all been participating, let's see about asking you guys a question here. All right, so point number 4 here. This one, it's funny. This is 4, right? Yeah, this is 4. We'll do this like this. Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start this point by asking you a question, and I just want you all to tell me in your own experience. So for point number 4, this one is going to be about eyes. Eyes, they always say, are the window to the soul. And it's very important to make sure that your eyes are telling the same story as your body language, as your billboard, which is your face, and as your overall energy, okay? So let me ask you a question. Have you ever been somewhere before, whether a club, event, a bar, the gym, the grocery store, and you've had a guy or a girl looking at you, and you're wondering to yourself, wait a second, was that look for me? Or were they looking past me? Or were they looking at a friend, right? How many times, or has it ever happened to you before, where you've gone out and someone has looked your way and you've asked yourself that question before, that are they looking at me or are they looking past me? I'm not really sure, even though we connected eyes and they were definitely looking in my direction, okay? Yvette says yes, at a grocery store. Okay, where else has it happened to any of you? Tell me if it's happened to you and tell me where it's happened to you, if it has happened to you. I'm curious. Someone else says yes, at the gym. The gym, okay, I see that must happen at the gym a lot. My neighbor in the gym. Oh, this is interesting. A lot of you have this happen to you in the gym. In traffic, okay. At work. All right. at shows and concerts, in class, the gym. Wow, this is happening at the gym that much. A homeless person did that to me once. Going to the post office when picking up what? Interesting. Gyms and restaurants, okay? In the bus. All right. So I see a lot of people are saying gyms. So let's actually use a gym example to kind of describe this. All right. So the reason I asked this question is because this is a perfect example of the analyzing and processing of information that men are doing when you're looking at them, or when you're using your looking at them to basically invite them into approaching you. That first look is really not a look. It really is a question. And the question is, was she looking at me? See, the reason I'm talking about eyes and the looking process is because I don't want you to make the mistake of thinking that looking at a guy one time is enough for you to communicate, hey, I want you to come up to me. Because sometimes you might see the guy that you're actually interested in and you think is cute and you want to approach you, but you're nervous. And so because you're nervous, you barely ever look at him. And so when you walk by him one time, you like glance his way like 1 second, and you like look over for 1 second, and then you look away, and then you go back to your girl, oh my gosh, I gave him all the signals in the world. How much do I have to do? Do I have to spread my legs wide open and say, come penetrate me? I gave him all the he doesn't know, right? That first look is not really a look. Even when you do look, even when you do connect eyes, he walks away from that first look asking himself, was she actually looking at me, or am I tripping? Maybe she was looking at someone behind me. That maybe one of her friends walked right behind me, right? It's always going to be a question, right? So we want to make sure that we're looking more than once. Now, that second look is really, even still, right? That second look, even still, is going to really consist of, I think she was looking at me. I'm not sure, because we had one look that we shared together the first time. That was a question mark. But this time, I feel like there's that same person that might have been behind me is not behind me anymore. So it couldn't be them. And this is where I'm actually taking you through the process of how men will be thinking. Okay, so it couldn't be the friend behind me. Was something going on behind? No, it can't be that. And he's thinking, well, she looked this way twice, and there's kind of a different background. No, I think it was me. So now this is where you kind of set it in stone for him, and you confirm what he's kind of debating in his own mind, right? And this should be like nothing too crazy in terms of the intervals, right? It doesn't need to be 30 seconds in between. You need to give him some time to ponder on what is going on here and process this information. But you also don't want it to be too long in between that he doesn't realize that the frequency is you trying to send him a message. So an average of 5-6 minutes maybe in between these looks, okay? Or maybe even a little bit more frequent, like 2 to 3. All right, but you don't need to do anything more than that. Enough for him to process the information, think about it, and then ask himself, okay, no, that look was definitely for me, right? Because by the time we get to the third look, we want him to be absolutely 100% sure she was looking at me. There's no doubt in my mind, because at this point, I done changed seats, I done changed positions, I'm in a different part of the room, and somehow her eyes still connected to me, and we still shared a look, okay? I know some of you are thinking, Thompson, this is so excessive. I have to give a guy 3 looks just before he knows that I want him to approach me? Yes. Because remember what we talked about at the beginning of the show in helping him? He's having all of these questions in his mind. I hope if I approach her, I'm not going to get humiliated. I hope if I approach her, she's not going to say I'm ugly, broke, and disgusting and deny me, right? So he's constantly battling with himself of what are the chances that she'll actually want me to approach her? What are the chances that if I have a conversation with her, she'll actually be interested in me as well? So we want to eliminate all of this debate in his mind. 1 look is not enough, okay? Even 2 looks is not enough. We need to be going to the 3+ area, okay? 3+ area. right? 3+ area in the sense that like we should be looking at him so much that there should be no doubt in his mind that you are looking in his direction. Now, we don't want to overdo it. If you're looking at him 18 times and he still don't get the hint, then just leave it. But we want it to be enough where he knows for sure, you're looking at him. Okay? Does that make sense? Let's hop into point number 5. Are we all on the same page? Someone says, can I stare at them? It never worked, but I like to know. No staring. Okay? Your look should be lasting. We'll probably say 10. I would say anywhere from 3 to 10 seconds. Okay? Anything over that will be a little bit weird. Okay? 3 to 10 seconds is the sweet spot for a nice, good, I'm looking at you. Me and you, we're sharing a look here. And it's definitely, I'm looking at you. I'm not just like passing my eyes by your vicinity type of thing, okay? Trust, some of you might be thinking 10 seconds. I done a look for 10 seconds. Chat, I done seen something. I done some things, chat. I done the 10-second before. All right, let's hop into point number, this is point number, was that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, it's point number 5. Okay. Let's do this like this. This will make the most visual sense to all of you beautiful people, hopefully. Okay. So let's do this like this. For point number 5, we're going to discuss the phone. The phone is a great tool, but it can also lead to your downfall. Because especially when we're talking about men approaching you, I should say, we have to acknowledge how men will be taking in information. When you're looking down at your phone, you're scrolling on Instagram, okay? Looking at pictures, looking at people who've liked your pictures, looking at your DMs because everyone wants to DM you. Whatever it is you're looking at on your phone. See, this creates a thought within a man's mind. You would rather be somewhere else than be here. Even if that's not the case, this is how he's interpreting that information. The reason I drew this visual out here is because whenever you go to an event, whenever you go to wherever it is that you go and you're in a room, a group of people, you're there in person with them in this environment and you're connected to them. All the people that are in this room. As soon as you get on your phone, you're essentially, right, isolating yourself from this environment and saying, I'm taking myself out of this world and connecting with all of you people, and I'm connecting in a different world, which we can just describe as the digital world, okay? Digital like Digimon. Digital world, okay? So the reason I kind of want to emphasize that for you is because I want you to be aware of what's happening in a man's mind when you're there on that phone, okay? Because as you're scrolling on that phone and this guy's looking at you, he's thinking, maybe I shouldn't approach her, because if I approach her, she's probably gonna think, I don't really want to talk to this guy. I have other things to do. I have other places to be. This is pretty boring. This is pretty uninteresting, whatever, right? And so this feeds into the man's mindset and his logic and the way that he's analyzing the information. He's gonna be thinking, what are my chances of her being interested in me? If she's sitting on this phone and she looks really disconnected from everything that's going on, the chances of me coming up to her and her being interested in me is probably slim to none, because she probably would rather be somewhere else doing something else. Even though I know for some of you, you're thinking, Tomisin, I just get on my phone because I feel awkward sometimes. And I get on my phone to feel less awkward, or it makes me feel comfortable, or it's like my pacifier, or I had to check something, or I had to text someone. I know it might not necessarily be because you're disinterested. I just want you to understand how the men are receiving that when they're calculating in their mind whether or not you're likely interested or disinterested, okay? So just like the billboard of the face, and just like the energy that overall you can be giving to a man just by the way you're sitting, the way you're smiling, the way you're looking, All of that information he's taking in and determining what are his chances of approaching you and being successful versus being unsuccessful. So we want to make sure we're adding all of these together to give him the right signal that yes, you will have success if you come and approach me. I like to be here. I'm enjoying my time here. I'm happy here. This environment is fun for me. I want to be here. So I would love to talk to new people and have new conversations. All of that information you want to be subconsciously sending and giving to him. If you're scrolling on that phone, even though it might feel comfortable and it might get you out of an awkward situation, he's going to be less likely to think he'll be successful in approaching you. Okay? Are we all on the same page? Okay? Are we here? Are we here? Someone says I bring an iPad to take notes because I'm a journalist. You bring an iPad to like a party, to an event. Okay, interesting. I think scrolling through an iPad, I'd probably be more wondering what is she doing here than thinking she's not interested. I'd be thinking she's taking notes, like you said, and then I'd just be thinking she's working, which would probably put some different things in my mind about approaching her. But yeah, that'd be pretty funny. Going to like a club or a bar with an iPad would be pretty funny. Okay, so let's hop into this is point number 6, I believe. Okay. Was that point number 6? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, point number 6. Okay. All right. So we'll do this like this. There we go. Draw the man. And then we have you over here. This is real strategy, chat. Ain't nowhere else you gonna get this amount of strategy. We out here strategizing, okay? So, number 6 is about proximity, okay? Never underestimate the power of being close to a man. The closer you are to him, the less of an emotional journey he feels like he has to take in order to have that opening conversation. I'm just letting you know how we kind of process this information. So let's say you're at this club or bar and you see the guy that you want to approach, and you see the guy that you want, or I shouldn't even say approach, you see the guy that you want to approach you, okay? You'd never approach men. This guy, right, you now want to give him the easiest opportunity to say hello to you or strike this conversation by closing the gap between you guys. So if you're at this club or bar and you see him at the bar, right, just hanging around, chilling around, you make your way over to the bar area and you don't have to get a drink, just ask for a glass of water. Now there you can strategically put yourself in his proximity and be like right next to him. Or, you know, like in his vicinity to the point where he's like, oh, that girl that I was sharing a look with this entire time, that I've already shared 3 looks with, is now right next to me getting a glass of water and drinking her water while she's literally 3 feet away from me. This is my chance. This is how guys are processing the information. Oh my God, she's right there. This is my opportunity to say something. And then he'll try to give him some time, because now he's thinking, okay, what do I say? Do I say something corny? Do I say something cool? Do I say, oh, I saw you looking at me? Like, he's going to be trying to process the first thing he should say. Some guys, they get a little bit nervous. So linger there for a little bit so that he can think of what he's going to say, how he's going to make it sound cool, and all that other stuff, okay? And just give him a second to process the fact that you're now right next to him and he knows that he wants to break the ice and say something and introduce himself, okay? So proximity is a really key element of that. If you're too far away from him, he's gonna start thinking, oh, okay, if I walk over there, what if she moves? What if she goes somewhere else? What if she's not looking in my direction, right? I know all of these things sound very irrational for a guy to be thinking, but this is how guys are processing information. When you're right next to him, especially when you can couple that with the other things that we talked about, like the eye contact, giving him that second, that third, that even fourth look, that it's like, oh no, she's definitely looking at me. By the time you can do that and then get in close proximity to him, now he's like, oh no, definitely she did this on purpose. I don't know for sure, But I know in my heart she must have done this on purpose because we were sharing a look before and now she's here. This is my chance. You want men to feel like this is my chance. I'm getting the signs. It's definitely this. She definitely wants me. Okay. That's a good feeling for men to have, especially when we're talking about approaching you. Okay. Let's hop into our next point. All right. I feel like I drank a bunch of coffee today, Chad. I have a lot of energy. All right. I don't even drink coffee. That's the crazy part. Let's, so for point number 7 here, you guys will love this. Gen Z gonna love this. They gonna love this. Yeah. Yeah, you guys gonna love this one. We're gonna talk about something very serious though. I promise you, we're gonna talk about something very serious. And I actually wanna ask you all a question because I want you to see how serious this is, okay? So, okay, you're all gonna love this. For point number 7, we're gonna discuss vibes. I want you to go out with your girlfriends, the ones that make you feel comfortable, that give you the right vibe, that make you feel happy, that take you over the moon. But there will be a grave mistake made here if you're not careful. I'm gonna start this by asking you a question, and I want all of you to be honest with me about your own personal experience. Has there ever been a time where you've went out somewhere, whether it be the gym, the club, the bar, a work event, wherever it is that you went, and you saw a guy that you found interesting, and you were with your girlfriends, and you told your girlfriends, hey, by the way, I think this guy is super cute. In fact, he's super sexy. This might be one of the hottest guys I've ever seen in my life. You know I love those dark, tall, handsome men with a clean fade. Oh my God, his teeth are so white. And when you said that to your friend, the entire rest of the night, they're like, oh my God, you gotta go talk to him. Say something to him. Oh my God, you want me to go up to him for you? I can say something to him. And your friend is like creeping up to him, like looking at him, like waving him down, like, hey, come over here, right? Have you ever felt immense pressure to talk to a guy and very awkward around a guy and felt like you can't talk to a guy after you said that to one of your friends? Tell me in the chat, has that ever happened to you where you've went out and you've told one of your girlfriends about the guy you find cute, and then all of a sudden you have so much pressure on you to talk to this guy that you actually don't end up talking to the guy, or you don't want to talk to the guy because the amount of pressure that's being put on you? Tell me in the chat if that's ever happened to you before. I want us to discuss, okay? All right, I see someone saying yes. Shea says yes. Richardson says yes. Samai says no, it's never happened to me before. I'm glad. Someone else says yes. I see a lot of yeses. I see a couple of no's. Okay, good for those of you who it's never happened to. Someone says yep with the period. That means it must have happened to you. You must hate it. Okay. Aset says yes. All right. So the reason I asked this question is because this is something for those of you who it's never happened to. Great. Now we can avoid this ever happening to you. This is one of the easiest mistakes to make. It will throw off your vibe and it will mess a lot of things up, okay? When you want a man to approach you, the worst thing you can ever do is tell any of your girlfriends about it. Okay, say it again. If you want a man to approach you, the worst thing you can ever do is tell any of your girlfriends about it. When you're trying to do your strategy to maneuver around and get this man to approach you, you do not want your friends to add pressure to you. It will throw you off. It'll throw off your vibes, as the kids say. It'll start making you feel very awkward and very shy, okay? The reason I drew this out is because I literally want you to think in a visual sense here, right? If there is more pressure being put on you to perform here, to get this guy to come up to you, to get this guy to have a conversation with you because of how much you want to talk to him and you want to get to know him, the chances of you talking to him are slim to none. I want you to make this correlation, all right? They are one in the same. As one goes up, the other goes down. As another goes up, the other goes down, okay? So the reason I want you to understand this very important part about vibes, Your whole entire energy and vibe will be thrown off if you feel so much immense pressure to have a conversation with the guy or get a guy to talk to you that you don't know what to do now. Now, when you want to look at him, you don't want to look at him because you're embarrassed that maybe he won't look at you or maybe he won't come up to you, right? You're putting so much unnecessary pressure on yourself to perform now that it's going to make it impossible to perform. You need to be in receiving energy, right? You're unbothered from the standpoint of you're here enjoying yourself. If that guy, after you give him his signals, decides he wants to come up to you, then he comes up to you. If he doesn't, it's going to be his loss. But when you put that pressure on yourself by telling your girlfriends about it and telling them how, oh my God, this is the hottest guy I've ever seen, now you start to make yourself feel like you have to be in hunter mode. Because you start to feel like, well, now if we're about to leave, or if he's about to walk away, or if he doesn't come up to me and ask for my number, now I'm going to look like Boo Boo the Fool. I'm the one missing out on an opportunity. I'm the one missing out on the guy. So what does that lead you to do? It starts to put you in hunter mode where you're thinking, well, I need to approach him. I need to say something to him. I need to break the ice here. I need to ask for his number. What if he doesn't ask for my number, Tomisin? Oh my God, that'll be so embarrassing because I'll go back to my girlfriends and then they'll realize the guy wasn't interested. Don't do that to yourself, okay? Don't do that to yourself. You will mess up everything that we're trying to do here in terms of getting this guy to approach you. As soon as you walk into that room and you see that guy that you think is the hottest guy you've ever seen in your entire life, and you would spread your legs wide open for him, you hush your mouth. You don't say a word. If your friends ask you, oh, I seen you looking at that guy, you think, oh, no, it's nothing. I don't even know who that is. Who is that? I don't know who that is. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing, okay? Your friends will sabotage you. I'm telling you that this happens to guys too, okay? Your friends will sabotage you. They will hype you up so much that the whole entire night will become you talking to him. And I promise you, in that sense, you won't even have a conversation. And God forbid, God forbid, you have one of those friends that will go up to the guy and say, my friend thinks you're cute. If you have one of those friends, get rid of them. If you have one of those girlfriends that is the, I will go up to that guy for you and say, my friend thinks you're cute, get rid of that girlfriend. She's going to sabotage your love life. Get rid of that girlfriend. She's going to sabotage your love life. I'm telling you this, okay? Because as a man, when I go out and I have a girl come up to me and say, my friend thinks you're cute, immediately I'm thinking, I'm never taking that girl serious. Never in a million years will I. And that happens to me often. I never take those women serious because for your friend to be coming up to me, it just makes you look like she's car salesmaning you, okay? If your friend has to sell me on you, I don't want you, okay? As a man, and that's how men process information. Your friend should not be car salesmaning you, okay? You're already a great, do they put Louis Vuitton on sale? No. Do they put Dior on sale? No. Do they say, please come and buy my Louis Vuitton bag? Please come and buy my Chanel bag, it's 50%. No. Don't allow your friends to sabotage you and do that. I know some of your girlfriends will mean well. I'm not saying this to be mean, but avoid those girlfriends. They will sabotage your love life. You will not get what you want from men if your friends are approaching men for you and saying, and car salesmaning you in any capacity. Don't do that. Don't allow that to happen, okay? If she notices that you're looking at a guy, you just pretend like you're not looking at the guy, okay? So that she's not pressed to go up and do that. And I really, really mean that, right? Adore says, why not? They will sabotage you in the man's eyes. I just talked about that, right? The man will now see you as lesser than, and instead of seeing you as a prize, he'll see you as like something that he can use or a toy, because now he knows he doesn't have to do anything for you. You already want him. And you must be very, this is how he's processing it. You must be very low on the totem pole if your friend has to sell him, I should say, on you. Okay? By saying, my friend thinks you're cute, you should talk to her, or you guys should, don't do that. Please, I beg you. I beg you. Okay? Are we all on the same page? Right? Point number 8. That one really pees me off. Don't sabotage her. I'm telling you, even as a pretty girl, if your friend is coming up to guys for you, it's sabotage, okay? No amount of beauty and prettiness will get you out of that. That's a hellhole, okay? That's a hellhole. Don't ever allow that from your friends. All right, this is point number 8, I believe, right? This is point number 8. Okay. Let's do this like this. Put the man over here. I love these visuals. It's like super strategy. Like we're really going deep into the strategy here. And then we put you over here. Like this. Okay. And let's say this box over here is the bathroom, washroom, as some countries say, okay? The loo, as some countries say. All right, point number 8 is about motion. You know how the kids say you should have motion? That's what you need to have whenever you go out and you see a guy that you're interested in. You need to have motion. You need to be out and about. You need to be moving, okay? Now, I'm not talking about moving in the sense of just being in random places. This is where you get strategic about crossing his eyesight and his eye line, okay? Because the more you can cross his eye line, that's always an opportunity for him to stop you. Let me give you an example of that, right? If you're at a club or a bar or a party, whatever the case may be, and let's say he's on this side of the wall or the room, and you're on this side of the room here, okay? So this is you. You, obviously, take a strategic stroll to the bathroom, knowing that as you take that strategic stroll to the bathroom, just to check on your makeup, just to take a little bit of tissue paper and blow your nose, whatever it is you're gonna go do in the bathroom, you take that opportunity strategically to cross his eye line, especially if previous to that, you've been sharing a couple of looks across the room. Now you've established that you're interested in him, you smiled at him, you've shared a little bit of energy, you can feel a little bit of a vibe here. Now, this is a perfect opportunity to use your motion to actually cross his eye line. It's kind of also an example of the proximity effect, but now that you actually cross his path, if you can cross his path now and then give him a look as you cross this path, oh boy, this will be so powerful. Because if you guys have shared looks beforehand, and then now you're actually crossing his path and it's like, okay, I'm looking at you now as I'm crossing your path directly at you, okay? There's no confusion here. This is like one of those, I'm telling you, it's like a magnet. Because as a man, you feel like it's now or never. And I've had this happen to me as well, where a girl that I've been looking at, she's been looking at me, she'll cross paths with me, and then she'll look at me right before she's like about to walk by, and it's like, no, I have to stop. I have to stop you now. Now, come here. We gonna have a conversation because now you playing too much. You were staring at me from over there. Now you walking by me, you looking at, and also you have to also factor in, right? He's there. He's probably with his guy friends. His guy friends are also taking in information. You're an attractive woman, so they're seeing you walk by. They're also noticing that as you're walking by, you're looking directly at him. So they're like, are you stop her, bro. So it's crazy because even let's say you walk by and he doesn't stop you, his friends noticing that you're looking directly at him will make them say, bro, when she walks, stop her. What are you doing, right? Why would you let her walk by? She's obviously then he'll be like, oh, bro, she was looking at me. Oh, yeah, she was looking at me, right? So all of this is good, positive information. Now, you can only get here if you have motion. Don't be static, I should say, in the room. If you're too static, it'll make it too hard to get to you. It'll create a barrier in between you guys, okay? Even in a psychological sense. I know it sounds funny how I'm describing this stuff, but it really is all of the things that's going through a man's mind, especially when he goes out, right? They're going out, if they're single, they want to meet beautiful, attractive women. They're always going to feel like that. So all of these signals that you can give will always just stack on top of each other and make it so that he's like, nah, I definitely got to say something, okay? Let's hop into our point number 9. All righty. Point number 9 here. Okay. All righty. It's the best way for me to help you guys visualize this. Should I give you a BBL on this one? Yeah, we'll give you a BBL on this one. All right. You got a BBL in this one. There we go. Give him a better haircut than that. All right. So for point number 9, we're going to discuss positioning. We just talked about motion and having motion and being strategic with your motion as you're going across the room. Now, in positioning, you also want to factor in how possible or impossible is it to even spot you in the position that you're in. There's a couple of really easy mistakes to make. You might go into a room or into an event and have your back turned to the crowd. That obviously is going to make it hard to see your beautiful, amazing face, your beautiful, lethal face card. And obviously that's going to kind of hinder and put a wall between your guys' ability to connect energetically and feel a vibe. Are you following me, right? So that's one. Positioning, don't have your back to the crowd. You can't do anything that way. Another one of these things is if you're on the smaller side, right? Because some of you are petite, right? You're shorter. Obviously, in a crowd, it's harder to see people. So you want to kind of position yourself in the room, either in a way where you can be elevated. You want to stand on a couch. You want to be in a place that's elevated, or just be in a place where you're not so surrounded by super tall people that will hide you or prevent you from being seen, right? Or you can be strategic in the sense that if you're short, find a way where you can position yourself so that through the space of people, you can still see your guy, okay? Easy mistake to make, right? You're thinking about the guy, but you're not realizing he can't even see you. You might have saw him at a glance, but like now you're short, now people are crowding you, and there's no way for him to connect with you, get eye contact with you, or notice you. Maybe if he didn't notice you when you noticed him, when you're in a crowd of people or your positioning is off, okay? Very, very easy mistakes to make. Don't put all of these type of things, it's putting up that emotional wall, that psychological wall. If he can't see you, or it's hard to get an eyesight or an eye line on you on what you're doing to get out your vibe or understand what your vibe is, understand if he should approach you, right? It's only going to make it harder and it's going to make the process more painful for him. We want to lay out the groundwork so that the environment is as easy as possible for him to approach you. Clear that space or position yourself in a different part of the room where there's at least space between people where you can still see him and get an eyesight on him, all right? If you have to start, see, this is why motion is important. If you have to start changing your position throughout the time that you're there so that you can continuously see him and he can continuously see you, that will be ideal, okay? I know it sounds like someone said, where's Waldo, right? It sounds like a game, but it is a game, right? If you want to get good at getting guys to approach you, especially the guy that you want, you have to understand how to strategize. That's why, and I'll be honest with you, going out and getting blackout drunk is probably not going to help you strategize properly, because when you're blackout drunk, you won't be able to process all this information and to be thinking about how all of this works together. Does that make sense? All right, let's hop into point number 10. Point number 10. Get the man to approach you. I want you guys swimming in men. I want you swimming in men. That's crazy. That's crazy. Pause. I want you swimming in men though, for real. All right, let's hop in point number 10. Oh, I should have mentioned, okay? I'll be honest with you. Point number 10 is only for those of you who want this pro tip. This is like a pro tip. I'm going to tell you something that I use in my personal life. And for those of you who love the Players Club, you'll get this information. Don't share this with anyone else, okay? Please. Promise me you're not going to share this pro tip with anyone else. This is my little secret, okay? Okay, pro tip for point number 10. Promise me you won't share, okay? I'm going to explain to you how this works because I actually use this in my own real life. So just know. All right. Perfect. And we'll draw this like this. It's going to look weird. Don't worry, chat. All right. So this is going to sound very silly, but this is a perfect pro tip. For point number 10, did you see that? This is my personal pro tip to you that I use in my own real life that I don't want you to tell anyone else about because it works very well. Whenever you go out, okay, especially if you're going out to a club, a bar, even an event, there will always be silly things that happen throughout the night. Always. I guarantee you, no matter where you go. You go on a night out, there'll be some goofy people, some weird people, some strange people. You'll see characters. When you're out and you've identified the guy that you're interested in, and you've been sharing some looks with him throughout this time, and you're trying to think of a way to kind of break the ice or whatever the case may be, right? One of the things that I like to do is, as long as I'm keeping that person in my eyesight, in my eye line, and keeping some close proximity to them, usually at some point in the night, there will be like a goofy event. Someone's gonna have a drunk fall. Someone's gonna be like really weird, really loud, really obnoxious, do something super stupid. Okay, it always happens like clockwork. Then, if you're in close proximity to that guy, and you've been doing your job of sharing looks and things like that, you use this as a moment to connect with him. It's gonna sound kind of weird, but you almost, right? When you see that person have the drunk fall, so for example, you're at a bar, right? You've been looking at this guy back and forth, you're in close proximity to him, he's not so far from you, maybe like 10 feet or so from you. Then, come walking in between you guys is someone who's super drunk, they slip and they fall. Everyone sees them slip and fall, right? This is your opportunity. Don't look at the person slipping and falling. Look at the guy you're interested in and use this opportunity to be like, oh my God, did you see that? That's crazy, right? Because what I notice happens is a lot of times this can be like a really mutual way to just automatically start having a conversation, right? Oh my God, that guy's insane, right? Either one of you can say it, really. And it just becomes, oh my God, that was a crazy moment right here. And then now all of a sudden, oh no, I seen that guy. I was looking at him all night. Oh, by the way, what's your name? And it just flows. I'm telling you this because it works so well. And this random event, right? It always happens like clockwork, can become the icebreaker that allows you guys, because remember, throughout this whole time, you guys have been sharing some looks. There's obviously some energy here. There's some chemistry here. So now that you guys are having this conversation, it's more natural because you're like, oh, this is the same guy I've been looking at. But now you guys get to address the drunk person falling instead of making it be like, hey, what's your name? I was looking at you. I think you're cute. Okay? And I promise you, if you can do this right, especially when this moment happens, you'll be like, okay, let me look at the guy. And whoa, oh, you seen that? Because he's more than likely, if he's in close proximity to you, gonna catch your eye line in the process of just kind of looking, I just saw that. Did anyone else see that? And I'm telling you, some of you might think this sounds stupid or it's impossible or you don't know what I'm talking about. It does work. And it's a great, great icebreaker when you get this moment right. Because I've done it plenty of times and it works like clockwork, okay? All right, do you guys have any questions about the 10 points that we just discussed here today about getting a guy to approach you? Are we all on the same page? Okay, are we all on the same page? I'll answer any questions that you guys have about getting a guy to approach you, okay? Irene says, can you suggest how to have a successful first conversation? So, hopefully, if the guy is approaching you, the conversation can be led by him. Where are you from? Obviously, what's your name? How did you get here? Where are your friends at? Where did you come from? Usually those conversations get broken with the why are you here? Are you enjoying your time? Do you live in the area? Things like that. And then you just kind of go from there. You don't have to overthink the conversation, especially if the guy is the one leading it by approaching you. That is the best way to do that. Someone says, I missed the other 7 points. It's okay, chocolate and ginger. On my YouTube channel, I go live on there at the same time that I go live on TikTok. So just go over to my YouTube channel. It's just my name on the top right corner of the screen. You just type in my first name, Tomisin. Then when you get on my YouTube channel, you'll see me live at the same time as I'm live here on YouTube, on TikTok, sorry. And then you'll be able to rewind the live and see all the points there. That goes for any one of you who missed any of the points or came late, okay? Terine says, yes, Coach T, I believe Issa Rae does this in Insecure. Yes. I don't know if I saw that scene in Insecure, but definitely it is a thing. It's just kind of like a very strategic pro tip, okay? Jazz says it happened to me in the subway, but the guy like didn't do anything. He just smiled at me. Well, you have to understand, right? Like when we add these up, sometimes some guys are going to take the bait. Sometimes some guys won't take the bait, okay? But it's always a good practice to understand how to do them so that you can get good at getting guys to approach you, or at least increase your percentage. LP Baby says, for point number 2, what does it mean if I get approached by men with a RBF? Why do I get approached if I look mean? They like a challenge, chill, or the thrill of mystery. Well, see, this is the thing. Sometimes if you're combining enough things, even if you don't have other things, it might still work, right? So for example, if you're sharing looks with a guy, even though you have RBF, he might still come up to you, right? Some guys also, if they're having a lot of liquid courage within them, just don't give an F. I'm factoring in the men that will go out and have their senses of them and aren't just operating solely off of liquid courage. Because liquid courage will make a guy feel like he's Superman, so he can say anything to anyone. But that isn't always necessarily representative of the fact that he's getting all the signs. I'm trying to kind of help you guys with the logical process of information that guys will go through, assuming like he's got his senses, he's not just operating off of being lit, if that makes any sense. Get your girlfriend to trip and fall, and and then he'll have to help her up to see if everything's okay. That's kind of a funny one. How about him seeing other guys hitting on me? Will it get his attention? I would say yes, but I don't think you'll be sending the right message. I'm not saying that you have to like run away from any guy who comes up and talks to you, but you also don't want to send the message of like, I'm interested in other guys, not just you, because then it'll decrease his likelihood of saying to himself, she'll be interested in me if I approach her. You want him to feel like his chances of you being interested in him and being successful in approaching you will be high. Not just that, you know, you're just one of the people she's looking at, but she's also looking at other people. It's just not the right message, right? So yes, a guy can hit on you, but you don't want to like overdo it where he thinks that, oh, that's the guy you actually want. Does that make sense? Okay. Justice Liberty says, I had a guy approach, but I thought he was a player, so I'm afraid I ruined it. Is there a way to recover? Unfortunately, no. Because if he approaches you, and you essentially deny him or reject him, why would he reapproach you? Like, you kind of have to put yourself in his shoes, right? So if you make the mistake of doing it wrong and he feels like you rejected it, you just have to chalk it up to the game and move forward, because there's just no way to kind of re-get that process of him approaching you, because he won't approach you if he feels like he's already been rejected. It just wouldn't make any sense. And then that would mean that the only way to get a conversation with him again would consist of you approaching him. And I definitely don't want you to be doing that. So please, you might just have to take that L, you know? Someone says, fall down a staircase and a handsome man will approach you and help. Can confirm it works. Okay, I don't think I've ever helped a girl up from falling down the staircase, but maybe it does work if you're saying that it works, if in your experience there. Okay. Someone says, what if he's shy, but you like him? Oh, great question. Simran, sorry, I hope I said your name right. If the guy is so shy that no matter what you do, because I just gave you 10 points to think about, what you say, or not what you say, you shouldn't be saying anything, what you do, how you act, where you position yourself, he still won't come up to you because he's just such a shy boy, you do nothing. Okay? All of this strategy that we talked about here is obviously about getting a guy to approach you. But there is a certain point and a threshold in which once we do your strategy and we do everything in our power to set the environment of, hey, I'm interested in you, I like you, I would love for you to approach me, that's all you do. You will never cross the line and say, okay, now that I've tried everything and it still didn't work, I'm going to approach you. I'm a man, man. I'm actually a real man. I know some of you think I'm an AI. I'm a real human being with real human being experience. I'm telling you, the worst thing you can do if you like a guy is approach him first. It will throw off the balance of power and everything that we're supposed to be working for afterwards. So if you notice a guy is so shy that he still won't approach you no matter what you do, you just have to say, you know what, this isn't my guy. I've got to move forward. Because as soon as you make that decision to approach the guy, you'll feel the pressure to keep the conversation going. You'll feel the pressure to give him your number. You'll feel the pressure to make this work. All of this will put you in your masculine energy. We'll be shooting you right in the foot because nothing will work properly as it's supposed to after we do that, okay? Right? I seen someone else ask, why can't women approach? For that same reason, right? You will sell yourself short, and then what will happen, and I've seen it, I've helped hundreds of women. When a woman approaches a man, he gets to be in a position of receiving and then going along with things. So for example, let's say you come up to me at the club or the bar and you say, I think you're so cute, I think you're so sexy, I want to be with you, right? I will then be like, okay, sure, good opportunity for me to put in little effort and get a girl who's already interested in me that I don't have to do anything for. I don't have to impress her. I don't have to take her out on a fancy date. I don't have to do none of that extra stuff. She already said she's interested in me, so all the pressure is on her to impress me. What also will happen is in the process of you approaching multiple men, more than likely you'll end up in a situationship with a married man or a man in a or a man who already has a girlfriend. Why? Because in that scenario, a man is more able to just go along with things and just not say anything. And then what will happen down the line is whenever you're dissatisfied with things, you don't like his effort, you don't like the intentionality on his part, he's not asking you out, he'll then come back and say, oh, well, to be honest with you, I'm just going along with this because this is what you wanted. I wasn't really ready for a relationship, but I didn't want to upset you and say something. I just, you said you wanted to go out, so we went out. You said you wanted to go here, so we went here. And then you'll be asking yourself, what the hell are you talking about? You're telling me that you only went along with all of this and you never actually wanted any of this? And you'll be like, yeah, no, this is basically all you. I don't want that for you. So, and it starts really from the very beginning of the approach. Don't set yourself up for failure by approaching a man, truthfully and honestly, okay? Rub Pill Queen says, I had a cute guy help me down the stairs and offered to walk me to my car. Oops, let me see here. But he was probably 20 years younger. I was limping / injured. I was embarrassed that I was injured. It didn't matter. Well, there you go. There you go. How do we make him propose? Is that what you meant to say? After 1 year, should we approach and open up the conversation about marriage? Are you dating the guy that you want to make propose? I know it sounds like a silly question. You're dating that guy, right? Because you shouldn't be making a guy propose who you're not dating. And if you're dating the guy after 1 year, well, do you not know what his view on marriage is? Do you not know if marriage is something that he even sees for himself? These are questions that you should have gotten the answer to before you were even dating him, like in the courting stage, right? LP Baby says for point number 8, can you give more examples of moving motion? I'm very short, 5'2". I don't want to stand on the couch. That's not realistic for me. It doesn't have to be standing on anything. All you have to do in terms of motion is walking by him. So I should say for motion, it's giving him enough chances to walk by him where these are opportunities where he can stop you. Positioning is understanding that you need to have space where he can still have you in his eyesight. And not being hidden by the crowd, especially if you're short, you don't want to be hidden by the crowd. Give yourself some space or move to a different angle where he can still see you, even though, there's lots of people around, right? You never want to be in a place where like you're or a position where you're crowded by a whole bunch of people and there's a wall of people between you and him and he can't even see you. That's not going to be successful for you. And then the motion is just about understanding throughout the time you're there, cross his eye line so that he can actually get a chance to stop you, okay? PH Joy says, what's the difference between approaching and acknowledging a guy? Sorry, I'm late to the show. I would say acknowledging him is eye contact. and walking by him and looking at him and things like that. Approaching him would be like you actually going up to him and saying, hey, my name is PH Joy. Hey, my name is Brianna. Hey, my name is whatever, right? That is approaching, right? We're setting the environment for him to approach you. But you as soon as you're opening your mouth, you're approaching. You shouldn't be opening your mouth, all right? You should be staying silent in everything that you do. It's just actions and energy that you're giving off, and then he should be taking the rest from there. That's what we're trying to set up for you, okay? Maple says, let me scroll down here. Tommy, what about a guy who's not good at planning but pays for everything and takes me everywhere I want to go? What do you mean that he's not good at planning? How does he take you everywhere you want to go? Like if you ask, he'll take you there? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Someone says stand on the platform with the stripper pole. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Someone says wear what you're comfortable in and that makes you feel sexy. What are you referring to? What you should wear to get approached the most? You should wear, if you guys want to know what you should wear to get approached the most, wear whatever makes you feel the best, because that's what's going to give you the most confidence, and that's what's going to actually up the vibes, as the kids would say, and up your vibes. If you're wearing something like, if you're wearing platform heels because you heard that that's what guys like, or it makes you taller, but you feel uncomfortable in them, and that's not, you don't get to have your confident, sexy walk because these make you feel awkward and weird, don't wear that, right? Don't wear anything that makes you feel uncomfortable and awkward because someone told you that that's what guys like. Wear what you genuinely feel the sexiest in. What you look in the mirror, you're like, damn, you sexy, damn, you hot, okay? That is the type of energy you need to leave the house with. When you leave the house with that energy, I promise you the guys will have the same belief that you have in yourself. The worst thing you can do is put on something that you don't feel confident in or isn't your regular look. And then when you go out, now you feel awkward. It doesn't fit you right. It's squeezing you in the wrong places. You don't know if you look good, right? Now, like, we don't want that, right? I don't even want you thinking about, oh, is a guy staring at this part of me wrong? Does he think this looks weird? Does this, all of that is going to throw off your vibes, as the kids say, okay? Simran says, I'm goth and I feel like men find me scary, but I love talking to people and I'm an extrovert. Should I wait for a man who has the confidence to approach me, or is there something I should change? Well, Simran, that's a great question, actually. You have to ask yourself your own personal question of, what am I attracting, or what type of guy am I attracting with the way that I dress? And do I like that type of guy? So for example, you dress goth, you're going to attract goth guys and guys who are into women who dress goth. Now, if you find yourself very unattracted to the type of guys that are attracted to women who dress goth, or goth guys in general, then we have what I call a misalignment. Because the type of guys you're attracting with the energy you're giving off is not the guy that you actually want. So we have to kind of almost reverse engineer, what guy do you want? What guy are you attracted to? Then we have to be honest about like what that guy would be attracted to, if that makes any sense. Are we on the same page? If you like goth guys and you're into that look and you're into that aesthetic and you're into that personality type, then you dressing goth and attracting goth guys are going to be perfect for you. But if you really don't like goth guys, or you really don't like their personalities, then we have a misalignment there, in which case we kind of have to recalibrate, if that makes any sense, right? It would be like me saying, oh, I love girls that, let's just say the girls I like all love guys with dreads and huge thick beards. You know what I mean? I don't dress like that. That's not my style. Or guys who dress more grungy and more, like, it's just, how can I say that I'm attracted to someone who their attraction is not to me? It's not gonna work. There's gonna be a lot of misalignment there, okay? Red Pill says, if you feel comfortable in a dress or a skirt, wear that. I get way more attention in a dress or skirt. Everyone's a little bit different, right? Some people might, some guys might like dress or skirt. I know some guys like jeans better. I know some guys like, everyone's a little bit different. So you have to start with what you like first and then go from there. All right, let's hop into our, oh, by the way, for those of you who have a personal question for me, even if it's not about this show or it's like really, really specific and really, really detailed, you can send in your personal and private question to me by going into the link in my bio on TikTok or in my description on YouTube. Click where it says private relationship advice. You can send your question in to me, as many details and paragraphs as you want. I'll respond with a voice message and it'll go right back to your email. It'll only take me a couple of days because I've cleared out most of my queue, so it won't take me very long to answer your private questions. All right, we're gonna hop into our next segment of the day. Our next segment is our React segment, where I react to TikTok videos that you guys have sent to me from across the universe. And we'll have conversation about them. They're usually about love life and relationships, okay? Here.
Ask people out in public and then how to escape if they say no. So I am not a huge fan of dating apps. I've been on and off of them for years like everybody else, but recently I've started asking people out in public and it's gone surprisingly well.
Wait. I thought how to ask someone out in public? Wait. What type of video is this?
So I'm going to give you my tips and tricks. Basically, the way that I approach this is I always make sure that I give the other person an out. I actually give them 2 different outs so that they don't feel pressured into saying yes to me. And it's just a very organic, very...
What type of video is this? Who sent this to me?
Flattering interaction. So what I do when I approach is I start by saying, genuinely no hard feelings if not. So that's an out. It lets them know that...
What the hell is this? You start the conversation with genuinely no hard feelings.
They can, refuse my advances and I'm going to be okay with it. So genuinely no hard feelings if not, but then insert a compliment. So I'm pretty direct. I usually say, but I think you're really handsome, or I think you're really beautiful, or I think...
This is satire, right, chat? Is she a comedian? No. Be for real, chat. You guys that have, if any of you know her channel, someone check for me right now. Is she does satire? She just comedy on her channel. I'm assuming, right? This is supposed to be a skit. This is a skit, right, chat? This is a skit. She's joking, right? It's one of those satire. Someone check her channel right now. Someone check her page right now. This is comedy, right? She does comedy. She did not say with the compliment.
And then insert a compliment. So I'm pretty direct. I usually say, but I think you're really handsome, or I think you're really beautiful, or I think you're really attractive, or you caught my eye, or whatever it may be. So insert compliment. And then ask them if you can give them your number. So it looks something like,
I can't, I actually feel offended. Oh my God. Let calm down. You need to calm down. I don't want to be mean. What? It's because it's even more crazy because what we just talked about. This is not planned, chat. I hope you guys, this is genuinely not planned. This was the next video on the docket. So the universe be trying to send messages because clearly the universe wanted me to watch this video at this time after the show that we just had. Because the fact that we just had this whole show about getting men to approach you and the things that I told you to never do. And I actually can't believe I can't believe she's saying this. I hope she doesn't actually dropping stuff. I hope she doesn't actually practice any. Please, none of you practice any of this. I can't stand by or co-sign any of what she's saying here. This is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
Insert compliment. And then ask them if you can give them your number. So it looks something like this. Hey, genuinely no hard feelings if not, but I think you're really handsome and I was wondering if I could give you my number. That's it, because that's your second out. Giving your number means that they're not put on the spot. So even if they panic and say yes when they don't mean to, they never have to reach out to you. And then you know that that's a no and you can just move on with your life. So that's the way I do it. And then this person's asking what the exit strategy is if you get refused. So if somebody says, hey, no thanks, or hey, I'm not single, or whatever else it may be, all you have to do is say, you know what, no worries, I really appreciate it, you never know if you don't try. And then leave. Just be very honest. People will still be flattered if you are respectful and you are willing to take whatever answer they give you. So again, the exit strategy, you ask somebody out, hey, can I give you my number? And they say, no, I have a girlfriend, or no, I have a boyfriend. Then you say, hey, no worries, you never know if you don't ask, I appreciate it anyway. That's it. It's easy.
I'm very perturbed, chat. This is very disturbing. This is actually, there should be a content warning. Next time anyone's gonna send me stuff like this, put a warning, put a content warning in front of this. This is very disturbing footage right here, chat. This is very disturbing, very disturbing. Don't ever do any of this, okay? As a woman, none of this is your job or your place to be doing. And I mean that with all my heart. You should not be going up to men and offering them your number, never in a million years. Okay, you definitely don't need to be going up to men and complimenting them for what? Don't compliment them for a damn thing. Okay. I see. This is the thing. See, some people will listen to what I'm saying here and they'll say, well, that's toxic to not just tell people how you feel and just be genuine. But I'm a man. Okay, I'm a man. And my goal is to try to help you be successful in your relationships. I know men do not respond to this. Okay. At least they don't respond to it in the way that I know you want them to respond. Because I know majority of you want to be chased by men, want to be desired by them, want them to be all up your butthole because of how obsessed they are with you. You will not get men to be obsessed with you by approaching them like this. I can 100% guarantee you, like clockwork, if they do mess with you, they'll use you as a placeholder or as a doormat. Okay? Or someone just said like a booty call, okay? They definitely won't take you seriously if you do this. So I beg of you, I want you to be successful in your relationships. Do not do any of this. None of this will work for you. None of this, okay? Right? Someone says he's Gen Z. Me? I am Gen Z. I am Gen Z. But none of this will work for you. I'm telling you. Whether it's Gen Z, millennial, boomer, Gen X, none of this will work on men. Never in a million years will that work.
Let him go! Let him the fuck go! Yes!
Is this the type of day we're going to have today, chat?
You can!
You know, I'm glad that, you know, every type of creator has their own different vibe, you know? I appreciate people like this because they hold a space and relationship advice that I could never hold. I could never be this. And I'm so happy that he is this for you all. So if you just need like a splash of cold water and you know that motivation, he's that for you. Me, I'm your strategy guy. So you want strategy, you come to me. You want motivation, you go to him. So I'm so happy for his existence. I so much love what he does, you know, because I'm assuming most of his content is geared towards women. So that's great. That's great. I can never be him. So more power to him. Okay. It's a lot for me, but hey, I'm sure for some people they need that motivation. So great motivation. Mr. Motivation Man. We'll just call him Motivation Man, okay?
You have to keep people on their heels. They can't know everything about you. And what I said is, disappear for a couple weeks. Make people talk about you. Make people wonder, why is she not posting as much? Why are we not seeing what she's wearing in the morning and having for breakfast and all these other things? I said, Beyonce did that. She disappeared for like a couple of years, and then she comes out with like a country western album that nobody expected. Michael Jackson did that. He would disappear between albums for 3 or 4 years. And it just made people go crazy and talk about him and wonder who he was. That was before the era of social media, I grant, but you have to disappear sometimes so people don't take you for granted. If they know everything about you, it's human nature that you become too familiar and they're not interested in you anymore at a certain point. So you have to create mystery. You have to keep...
Yeah, this is good. I'll give you guys another tip that's a little bit more, like an example that's a little bit more geared towards like regular people, because he gave examples of Michael Jackson and Beyonce, but your life's not going to look the same as theirs. For example, let's say you're with a guy that you feel like's been taking you for granted. He's not asking you out on dates anymore. He's not being as attentive to your needs and desires anymore. A version of disappearing, and disappearing can look different for everyone, but a version of disappearing can be planning and organizing like a time to go hang out with your girlfriends. And you know the next time that he's going to ask you to go out or whatever, instead of you doing your regular over communication and over explaining and begging for him to hang out with you and take you out on a date, he asks you, hey, you want to come over on Friday? And you just say no. You don't add anything. You don't do any explaining. And then he says, wait, what? You don't want to hang out on Friday? You usually always say yes anytime I want to hang out with you. And then he'll ask you, well, why don't you want to hang out on Friday? And you say, I have some other things that I wanted to do with my girlfriends. Plus, even if I wasn't busy, I get bored hanging out with you. I'm tired of sitting in the house. So I'd rather do other things than be with you. And then he's going to say, well, damn, that kind of hurts. That kind of stings. But it's a great way to, how do I say this? Disappear on someone while you're still in their life, in the sense that you still exist, but like in the sense that like you're taking your time and your energy and you're taking it elsewhere, and you're leaving him to think to himself, well, damn, what is she now doing with her time and energy? Okay. And then when you go out and when you have your good time, rather than just sitting in the house and waiting for him to want to hang out with you, it's like a version of disappearing, because you're taking that time and energy, instead of giving it to him now and being all up on him, you're all up on yourself without asking him to be your happiness. So that can also work as well in the standpoint of disappearing on people. Any type of pattern break, pattern interrupt in terms of your normal everyday patterns or way of responding to people or way of giving them your time and energy will always like jolt people, especially guys.
Lack of hygiene will tell you a lot about a man. If you start dating a guy and he's giving you that lack of hygiene vibe, this person likely has poor social awareness. He will be unorganized at home. He probably doesn't wash his sheets. He probably leaves dishes in the sink for a week. Probably hasn't washed his hair for a year. He probably never brushes his teeth. And he probably goes to work the same way. And his friends are probably the same because no one's brought him up on it. So if he's presenting himself to you like this, then he's living a life where it's okay for him to be that way. Lack of hygiene
reminds me of this running joke that guys will use like an all-in-one like bottle for everything to like shower themselves. So they'll have like a 4-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, hair, like it's like everything in one, which is kind of funny to me. But I do agree there is a correlation between a man who takes care of himself, like in terms of his hygiene and like grooms himself, and definitely an organization of life. Men who are more organized with their life are more likely to groom themselves and care about grooming themselves and their hygiene, versus the men who are kind of like the 5-in-1 shampoo, body wash, conditioner, everything, and just not really give a damn, because they also translate that not giving a damn of their grooming or their self-care to not giving a damn in relationships. It's what she's describing here is how to correlate personality types to certain things that personality type will do. So you can get a sense of what someone is like by looking at other areas of their life. Usually it works. It's not always one-to-one, but usually it helps you kind of form an understanding of that person without having to go through it with them, if that makes any sense.
This is my scolding hot take, and you're either going to be ready to hear this or you're not going to be. Women historically have been slaves. I understand there's different forms of slavery, but women, in the true definition of the word, have been enslaved. Marriage was the act of making women property. Marriage was the way of exchanging women as property. Marriage was the property transfer of a woman between her father and her husband. Regardless of how you feel about it, that's the fact. That was the original purpose of marriage as a construct. The reason why you see divorce rates rise is because women finally have agency over whether or not we stay in these marriages. The reason why you're seeing marriage rates and birth rates decline is because for the first time in human history, women have had more agency than we've ever had on whether or not we get married in the first place and whether or not we decide to have children. There is a reason why women have been socially conditioned into believing that if we don't have children, or if we're not married, or a man didn't choose us, that's like the biggest insult to our identity or our value as human beings. I personally disagree with the entire construct of marriage. I believe that marriage signifies the ownership of women, and I disagree with it as a concept as a whole. And if you're not new to my page, you know that I have no intention of ever getting married. I relish in the idea of being single. I do not want to have any children. And I relish in the idea that for the first time, I'm one of the first generations of women who have the freedom to not participate in any of those things. So to me, not only is it not an insult to my identity and does not dictate my worthiness as a human being, it is a privilege that I get to choose not to get married. It is a privilege that I get to choose not to have children. And I believe that as a woman, you should avoid getting married. You should avoid having children. I think if you are even remotely on the fence about any of those concepts, you need to avoid it. Marriage benefits men, and having children benefits the patriarchy. I'm not saying that no one should have children, or that's where it gets kind of like muddy. Like, I think that marriage does have protections for women who do want to have children, or for women who are with a partner who's great. There are legal protections around that marriage works in favor for. But as a general concept, I think marriage represents the enslavement of women. I think marriage represents...
Okay, here's the thing about what she said. All right, everyone's entitled to their opinion. There's one fatal flaw with her ideology. If she thinks that marriage doesn't serve women and also having children only serves the patriarchy, how are we supposed to continue on as a race, like as human beings? How are we supposed to continue on if the solution is that women should not be having children and they should? But so that's number one. I'd love to know the solution to that. But number two is, I think that, here's the thing. I think that if that's her preference of not wanting to get married and not wanting to have children, that's a preference. But I think that even when you listen to any content creator, I don't think that you should allow what they think is best for their own life to saturate in your mind and to become your belief. I don't think that any of you would be bad women for believing that you want to get married and you want to have children. The same way she finds a lot of happiness in not having those things in her life is the same way you're allowed to have happiness in having things in those things in your life. And I don't think there's anything wrong with embracing that at all either, because there will be plenty of men who you'll meet and will be on the same page as you, saying, I love the idea of getting married. I love the idea of raising a family. I love the idea of building with someone. And you should align yourself with those people. I think this is a perfect example of, like, when you go out on a date, your approach to going out on a date should be, tell me what your perspective is in full, in detail, removed from me and what I want and what my expectations are. And the same way that kind of I just sat here and just listened to her talk about exactly what she wants and exactly what she feels, I think you should also do that with the people that you're dating. Because then when you allow them to go in, you can let them finish and you say, okay, you're finished. And then you'll be very clear, either me and this person are aligned or me and this person are very, very much not aligned, right? Right. So if you went on a date with someone and they said this and you're like, that's not at all what I want for my life, then you know this is the last time I'll ever date this person, because we are not aligned at all in any way, shape, or form. Okay. She said that she did not say marriage should not exist. It's true. How lucky you can feel to have a choice. It's good to have a choice. But she said that she doesn't think that you, the watching public, should want to get married. And I just don't feel that that's right, because I think her speaking on her own preference versus her saying what any of you should want for yourselves is two different things. If she says she doesn't want to get married and doesn't want to have children, that's perfectly fine. I just don't think it's responsible for her to say that all of you should also not want that for yourself. I think that's a little bit unfair. I want all of you to choose what you want. And obviously, I'm your guy. If you want to get married, you want to have children, you want to have a successful long-term relationship, I'm your guy to help you strategize to do that. But if you don't believe that that's where you want to be, I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong in what you believe or what your preference is. And I'm also not going to tell you what happiness should be for you. That's just my opinion. Okay. I don't subscribe to people telling other people what happiness should be for themselves. I think that whatever it is that makes you happy. And then if I can help you get to that point, then hey, I would love to be able to do that. If I'm not your guy, then it's okay too.
Anytime a man asks you an inappropriate question, respond with something equally as inappropriate, because a lot of times men are trying to gauge
What? All right, let's go on.
certain things about you in certain ways in which they can manipulate you, because they expect you to answer the question in a certain way. So if he asks you when's the last time you've slept with someone, you're going to say this morning. Even if it's been 6 years or 6 months, you say this morning. When he asks what's your body count, you're going to say 27. Okay? Not including relationships. When he asks you, oh, what do you do for a living? I think that's inappropriate, because as a man, you shouldn't be checking for what a woman is doing and how much money she's making. That's none of your business. You're going to say, oh, I have a dad that does everything for me and I don't work. That's what you're going to say, because they don't want you to have those answers. And a lot of men, I've even had men ask me, oh, do you talk to your dad? Off of like the first, second conversation. It's like, why do you care if I talk to my dad or not? And if a man asks you anything like that, you're going to say, yes, my dad's in my life and I'm spoiled. He does whatever he wants for me. Even if you've never even met your dad, okay? You're going to say you're spoiled and he does everything for you, because these men are trying to figure out ways to manipulate you, okay? Don't get manipulated, ma'am. Anytime a man...
A couple notes on what she said. I like to make sure you're using your time and energy as efficiently as possible. If a man's asking you questions that you deem to be inappropriate, the best thing for you to do is to remove yourself from that situation as fast as possible. I get it. You might be on the date and it might already be going tragic, but I don't think it really serves you to be thinking about how to one up the inappropriate questions to answer them even more inappropriate or make it even more uncomfortable. Because what's the point, right? Like, what's the point of spending your time and energy on someone who you're not aligned with? Waste of time. In my estimation, it's a waste of your time. I want your time to be used very sparingly and very wisely and very efficiently. So that's number one. Number two, I think the better way to respond to any of those questions, because I agree, if you meet a guy on a first date, he's asking you what your body count is, like, is a waste of time, man. But the better way to approach that, if you really want to like use this as a teachable moment for yourself and, you know, get something out of it, is to ask him why he wants to answer that question and what he thinks is relevant about that question and why he wants to understand that about you. And actually force him to answer why it is he wants these answers or why it is he's asking these questions. Because I think the key element of that of information that you can use from that is you can understand, one, his thought process, and it'll also give you a very clear understanding of how misaligned you and this guy are. For example, if a guy asks you, what's your body count? You might hear the question and think, maybe he's just asking that because he wants to make sure I don't have a high body count or whatever the case may be, but it makes me uncomfortable. When you ask the question, why are you asking that? Like, what is it that you want to know about me that body count is going to answer? And you take it a level deeper. And then he says, I want to know your body count because, you know, I'm a high value man. And if I'm a high value man, I can't be with a woman who's been with more than 0 people. And I just want to make sure that you're not a low vibrational woman because I know that if you've been sleeping with and he's describing and talking, you actually giving him a chance to talk himself out of ever speaking to you again, which is great because then you can be sure as he's talking, you'll be like, oh yeah, for sure, I will never talk to him again. For sure, this is our last date. For sure, we're misaligned. For sure, he's not the guy I'm looking for. Because now he's actually explaining to you how he processes information, his thought process, and he's giving you a deeper look inside to him on who he is. I always tell you, let guys do all the yapping on the dates. Your favorite words out of your mouth should be why, what, how, right? Like question type of responses. That way it leads him to yapping more. Because as you understand better how he's processing information, what he thinks about this, what he thinks about women, what he thinks about relationships, what he thinks about marriage, like let him give you all of that information free of judgment. Then when you leave that date, you'll know for sure if this is your guy or not. You won't have to question nothing. Okay. Right. Scotty says, is that not insulting to ask you that? Never had a man ask me that. Never, ever. Well, yeah, it can be deemed as being insulting. But if you're on a date and a guy asks you that, what are you going to do? You're going to slap him in the face? You're going to throw a drink in his face? If you want to, you could just walk up and get out and leave the date. You could. But I know most of you won't do that. All I'm saying is in that moment, you can make this something for yourself where you're like, okay, let's really see and dig deeper onto who this guy is. And that was an inappropriate question, but why does he even think that question is appropriate to answer? And at least then you'll be able to entertain yourself with understanding how misaligned you and this guy are that it's almost comical. And you can just walk away like, whatever, I'm never speaking to this guy again. Who cares about whether or not he thinks I have a high body count or not? At least I know I'll never speak to this man again, and I'll never speak to guys like this ever again. Which is good. Okay. It's just, you have to understand when the time and place is to put your energy towards certain things. I just don't think the guy asking for your body count, I don't think you should be worried about how to one up him. Just always a waste of your time. Okay.
I feel like right now in the Black community, there's a lot of women choosing to be single. A lot of us feel like dating is not beneficial. We're better off just being alone because men are wicked and literally ruin our lives. Especially when you're a sacred woman and you're high value and spiritually anointed. It's like these men really come into your life and they see your light and they do everything in their power to destroy you and break you down to the point of insanity. And then they'll just leave you and discard you with no remorse, like you meant nothing to them, and they'll go on about their lives. And then when you had to pick yourself back up and you finally overcame all the things they put you through and you getting your light back, you getting your spark back, here they come. Here they come back trying to spin the block, to kick you down, to finish you off, bruh. It's like they're literally sent to destroy you. And the crazy thing about it is that they blame women for everything. Oh, it's the men that you're choosing. Not like it's men out here that's faking their whole intentions with women. They're literally baiting us. They get us to a point where they reel us in, and then they fake their whole intentions. They fake their whole persona. That whole mask comes off and they're a whole different person. They done switched up. They done flopped and folded. You know what I mean? And it's putting women in this position to where they have to protect their hearts, protect their wombs, extra protect it, extra guard yourself. You know what I mean? And it's like, because of this, it's starting to distort women's perception of love. It's like if a man sees that you're unhappy, he's going to do everything and go out of his way to make sure you're miserable. You will tell a man what makes you upset, what's your non-negotiables, what's your boundaries. And he'll make sure he'll do everything to break those things. It's like men do things on purpose to make us hate them.
I think the element of truth to that is, like I always say, men are opportunists. So when they see a good opportunity, they will take it. And opportunity in the sense of like relationships is, if you are someone who isn't willing to stand up for yourself, and stand up for yourself isn't always like, oh, I'm going to tell that person off, I'm going to give them a piece of my mind. Like standing up for yourself in the sense that as soon as you see someone is trying to take advantage of you, you zap all of your energy, your time, your attention, you take it back, and you focus none of it on them. See, this is the part that I don't think a lot of people talk about when it comes to men and how they will be like energy zombies, is that they can only feed off of you if you give them something. I love when I talk to people, and it happens with girls and guys, and they'll tell me a story about how this person was inappropriate to them, took advantage of them, treated them badly, and how they crossed their boundaries. And then they'll say, oh, and this person, they called me a million times, they texted me and whatever. And it's like, why the hell do you even have the audacity to text me or reach out to me after what you did? And I'll be like, oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. So you didn't respond, right? And they'll be like, no, I just sent them a text back because obviously I'm not going to ignore. And I'll be like, oh, so we're not actually moving forward. We are saying how badly that person has treated us, only to still give them energy again, because also you can't help yourself in terms of just saying no to giving a response, giving any sort of attention or time to that guy or to that person, right? So you have to understand, with your power, you're so powerful, and you're the most powerful when you're very, 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 very meticulous about where you put your time and energy. Do not allow men to have anything to feed off of who you know are taking advantage of you. A response is energy. I don't know where we got this idea that giving a guy a response is not giving him energy. You give him, even liking his message is energy, okay? Don't like his message. Don't respond to his message. Don't post any subliminals on your story about him. That's giving him energy, okay? Don't talk about him on your TikTok. Don't talk about him on your spam page, okay? No energy. I'm telling you, guys feed, they just want the little one. They just want the small one. It's the crack. They want to see that there's still just a little bit there. You post a subliminal, he knows it's about him. He's like, she's bothered. I got her. Energy. I needed that. It's like an energy zombie, right? Don't give nothing. Don't say nothing. If you want, don't even talk to your friends about it so you don't have to continue talking about it over and over again. I'm telling you, they will zap the energy as long as you give them something. You can't give them nothing. Don't give them nothing, okay? Let's hop into our next segment here, all right? These are wild reaction videos we had here today. All right, for those of you who are OG Players Club members, you know what's coming up. For those of you who are new here, you might not know what's coming up, but you will learn. Spam it up in the chat if you already know what's coming. And for those of you who don't know, don't look at your clock. Don't look at your watch. Don't look at your phone. And don't look nowhere else in your entire home. It's a special time. It's an amazing time. It's a time where you're going to laugh and you're going to cry. Should I say it loud or quiet? Chat, loud or quiet? Which one? Almost broke my mic here. Okay, hold up, Jab. My mic messed up. All right. For those of you who don't know what Discord time is or what I'm referring to, I'm going to explain this to you right now. It's awesome. It's amazing. Okay. So Discord time is essentially where all the amazing members of our Players Club community get an opportunity to ask me a question of their relationship or their situationship, and I answer it live on the show. Okay, now there are a few different ways for you to submit your question to me, and I'm going to explain all of those different ways right now when I pull up our Players Club Discord. Okay, so the first way to submit your question to me, let me pull this in here. The first way to submit your question to me is by going into our free relationship advice forum, which is available to all of you by going to the link in my bio if you're watching this on TikTok, or in my description if you're watching this on YouTube, and clicking where it says Players Club Discord. Okay, I just pulled it up here so we can all see. There we go. And let me pull this down a little bit. All right. The first way here is to submit it that way, right? So if you're in the link in my bio on TikTok or in the link in my description, now you can see here, all these highlighted questions are questions that I haven't yet gotten to and that I still have to answer. So it will take me a couple of weeks to get to your question if you ask it today in the free section, because I'm only one person and there is a lot of questions. Now, for those of you who want to ask your question, but you don't want to wait that long because you're impatient, that's perfectly fine. We also have a premium relationship advice forum, which is like a skip the line pass for the people who want to get their questions answered ASAP, like the next show. Because I read these questions out before I go into the free section. So the way to get access to this is by going to the link in my bio if you're watching on TikTok, or in my description if you're watching on YouTube. Click where it says Premium Discord Relationship Advice, and then you'll be prompted to donate to the show. And with your donation, you'll have to put in your Discord username and the title of your question, what it's going to be. That way I can see that you sent in a question and that is your question and that's you. And then I can ensure that you getting your question to be able to skip the line is fair to everyone else who's also waiting for their question to be asked or answered, I should say. And the third way for you to submit your question is for those of you who want to ask me a question, but you don't want your information read out loud on the show. This is our private relationship kind of hotline where where you can send me in a private relationship question. All you have to do is go to the link in my bio if you're watching on TikTok, or link in my description if you're watching on YouTube. Click where it says private relationship advice, and then you can type out your question to me, submit it to me, and I respond with a voice message. You know it's me because of my voice, addressing your situation or your relationship, and giving you advice on exactly what you should do, or the perspective if that's what you are looking for as well. I'm pretty much all caught up. I had a lot to do. So that's why sometimes if I don't get to yours in a reasonable amount of time, it's only because the queue is probably so long that it's forcing me to take some time, because some of them are long. I'd be doing long answers too. So keep that in mind. I'm always answering those questions though, okay? Let's start off with our first premium question of the day. Comes from Frida WW. I don't know what to do. I've been seeing 2 guys since March. I'm sorry, what? I've been seeing, this is a typo? 2 guys since March, and both of them have been really into me. Okay. After a few dates, guy C admitted that money is tight, so lots of dates have been him cooking me dinner. He's really thoughtful and always remembers the small things I mentioned. Once he went online and found the poem I mentioned in passing and learnt my language and recited it to me. Okay. He knows that I love sweet corn tamales. Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. Is that good, chat? What ethnicity is that dish? Sweet corn tamales. Is that Spanish? Espanol? He found them for me. There have been some rough patches, mainly because he consistently tried to put expectations on me, wanting me to initiate dates or texting him more. How many dates can you initiate? He don't have no money. More, even when I was on a trip, but I never gave in. Good job, Frida. I always set my boundaries, and he eventually apologized. However, over time, I started liking guy B more because he takes me out, buys me flowers, picks me up, and drives me to the airport, and is always there for me. He even learned to make a cranberry ginger cookies from scratch since I mentioned it once. Damn, you guys love you. Both of these guys asked me to be their girlfriend after about 2 months. Okay, we have a conundrum here. And I rejected them both because I need more time to consider, and there's no way for you to know someone after such a short period of time. However, I do want to eventually be with one of them. Last week, I was 90% sure that I will consider to be in a relationship with guy B. Guy B is the second guy, right? Why'd you call one guy C, guy B? Okay. I thought you would say A and B. So guy B. We saw each other about once a week. He only had one girlfriend in the past. So when it comes to intimacy, he behaved desperate. Okay. I set my boundaries saying I'm not ready for pineapples. He said the last thing he wanted was to make me uncomfortable. Before his trip to Japan from 5/13 to 5/28, he asked me if I was seeing others, and I said yes. He said because he's been putting in a lot of effort and doing what a BF does, he felt like an option. I told him I need time, but I really do like him. He said he's going to be patient and wait. He told me I'm the only person he's seeing and will be the only one. The first week he was in Japan, he was responding much slower than usual, but he was telling me how I was his everything, and he misses me more and more every day. Because he wasn't texting me much, so I intentionally texted much slower too, but I thought it was okay because I was never a big texter. But then there was one day he looked at my stories and didn't like them. Okay. Which was strange because he always liked them. The next day, May 18th, he didn't respond to my text after 24 hours, which was very out of character. When he responded, the messages seemed very rushed, and he said, I want you so bad right now, to a pic I sent. I was annoyed by his late and rushed response, so I just thumbs up his message. I expected him to text me again, but he never did. Today, May 21st, he saw more of my Instagram stories and didn't like them. He stopped sharing his location with me all of a sudden. I tried to act as if I didn't notice anything strange, so I texted, what day are you coming back? Haven't been... So you shouldn't have done this. number one. Haven't been wanting, to distract you since you seem very busy, but I missed you. But I have a feeling that he's never going to respond. You have another guy, don't you? Yesterday, May 20th, Guy C asked me to be his girlfriend again. Damn, he really want you. He also asked if I was seeing other people, and he got really upset when I said yes. He told me either I never see him again or I have to stop seeing other people. So basically, I'm forced to make a decision. However, up until a few days ago, I was sure that I was going to be with Guy B, and even told my therapist that things were getting serious between us, and all of a sudden, he's acting very strange on his trip to Japan with his friends. Now, I don't know what to do. I do still want to see if things can work out between Guy B and me, but I have a feeling something happened and he might have decided to disappear. I don't know. I do like Guy C, but since I have been prepping a relationship with Guy B, I don't know how to feel about being with him if Guy B is not an option anymore. Can you please explain to me what exactly is going on and what I can do? The first thing you need to decide for yourself is what makes you happy. So I get it. You have two guys that you're dating at this point. But just like I always tell any one of you women who have a roster or want to date a roster of men, you are always going to have a favorite. There's no version of having a roster in which every man is created equal in your mind. So it's always best to start with who do you actually want to be with? Because you don't want to be getting into relationships with what you consider to be consolation prizes, meaning guys that you don't actually want to be with, but like that's the guy you end up with because the other guy you really wanted was playing games. That's not the position you should be in when you enter a relationship. So that's number one. If you know guy C, I believe, or sorry, Guy B, because you call Guy C, guys number one is Guy C, guy number two is Guy B. Guy B, the guy that you actually want to be with, who has money and has resources to be able to take you out and things like that. If that's the guy you want to be with, you have to be honest with yourself that that's the guy you want to be with and not mess around here and end up with Guy C as a consolation prize. So the reason I say this is I get it. You have some feelings for guy number C, but the reality of it is like, yes, he's treating you well. Let me ask, I want you to answer this question for yourself as well. Where is Guy C in his life? In the sense that you say he doesn't have money for dates right now, which is a problem. That's number one. But he is thoughtful. Are you saying when you say that money is tight, are you saying money is tight from the standpoint of he's just in a temporary situation in which money is tight that he will recover from in the next couple of weeks or months? Or are you saying that guy number C, money is tight in the sense that like he don't have no real career and he's got to do a whole bunch of figuring out of what he's going to do in order to get money and for it to be not tight? The reason I asked that question is because we're talking about the difference between a man who's just in a hard or rocky place in his life currently versus a man who's not even in a place where he should be considering dating. And if your guy C is in a place where he shouldn't even be considering dating because he has a lot still to figure out for himself, then Guy C shouldn't even be an option. Because if you get into a relationship with guy number C, you'll still end up frustrated because Guy C can't provide you with any of the things you want as a woman. And I'm not saying that you got to date the richest man, but at the end of the day, part of a man's value is his resources. If he's not resourceful because he can't do anything for you, because he don't got no money and he can't even take care of himself, let alone you, then he can't serve you as a man. It's just the reality, right? They say protect and provide because that's part of his value as a guy. If he hasn't gotten to that point yet in his life, he has to stop dating, go and figure out that part of his life so that when he does date, he has that taken care of. It's just the reality of life. Okay, like we all have, as women, you have certain things that will make you more valuable or less valuable. As men, we have things that will make us more valuable or less valuable. That's the reality. Can't sugarcoat that. So for Guy C, if he's not there, he's got figuring out to do. So, and you can't be part of that while he's figuring that out. He's got to go on his own time and do that. But what I am saying is with Guy B that you actually want to be with, first of all, you're going to do nothing. No more reaching out. Let Guy B do his weird thing. If he's going to be weird about stuff, let him be weird. But what I also don't want you to do is I don't want you to use Guy C as a way to like calm yourself down while Guy B is doing his thing. And then when Guy B returns, you focus your attention on him. And then Guy C you're basically using him because you don't really want him. you don't really like him, and you're hoping to be in a relationship with the other guy. So it's like, why not just focus your attention on just guy B? And then if guy B is not working out, then you're single, okay? Unless a guy comes across you that is even better than guy B and has more to offer to you than guy B. I just don't think, for me, Frida, I don't ever advise you to have guys in your life that you feel like are second-class citizens, right? No point having a guy that you're like, I don't really like that guy, but he's whatever. I'll be with him if the other guy doesn't work out. What's the point of that? Right? No one wants to be treated as an option. I'm not saying you're a bad person for dating multiple people, but I think if you do date multiple people, they should all be first place type of guys. In the sense that like you feel like you could literally be with either one of those guys. I think that you like guy C's vibe, but I don't think realistically you think you could be with him in a relationship with him. And you even said yourself, you're already been leaning towards guy number B. So this Japan trip, obviously I'm not him. I don't know what's happening with guy B on his Japan trip. But if he's not going to be messaging you, he's going to be weird and like not liking your stories and things like that. You have to let him be him. If he's going to not share his location with you, then so be it. Because you have to realize that he's going to do what he wants to do, whether you address it or not. And even if you say, why are you being weird? He ain't going to change anything. So this is what you'll do. With guy, I honestly think let guy C go because you don't want him anyways. But with guy B specifically, you're going to give the clock started. So since the last time you guys sent a message to each other, 14 days is the clock is starting. If you guys do not have a conversation, meaning he doesn't text you, reach out to you, call you, nothing like sending you Instagram DMs or Instagram memes or TikTok videos. If he doesn't specifically reach out to you personally in the next 14 days after the last time you guys spoke, this is done for good. Meaning, if after those 14 days is up, he comes back and says, my bad, I was busy the last 14 days, my phone died, you don't even respond to that. Because after 14 days, there's no excuse that could possibly make sense or be relevant to the fact that he couldn't reach out to you in 14 days. That was an active choice, okay? And nothing that could happen would allow him to not reach out to you in 14 days. So after that, you're completely moved on. There's no going back from there. But that's all you should be doing. And if he does come back or reach out to you after the 14 days, then you get to decide what is his energy like? What is his approach like? Do I like where he's at now energy-wise? Do I like has he changed his approach? Or is he still doing this really aloof stuff, weird stuff, acting very different? If he continues acting very different, then once again, you can decide that you just want to break up with him and let him know, look, this isn't working out for me. And I'm good off of that. If you're going to be doing what you're doing, that's fine. I'm not begging you for nothing, and have a nice life and then just move on with your life. But I also don't think you should have guy C around as guy C, the guy number one, as your consolation prize, because that's not doing you any favors. It's also not doing him any favors, especially if money's tight for him. He needs to be figuring out his money problems, not his girl problems. Okay. All right, let's hop into our next question here. Right. This one comes from Lily Moonshade. Okay. Is he provider material? Let's see. Hi, Tomisin. I'm reaching out because I really need your perspective as a love coach and businessman. I've been in a relationship with someone I care deeply about, and things are starting to feel serious. He's even said he plans to propose at the end of the year. He recently accepted a new job in finance. He's only 31 and I am 35. His base salary is $70,000. In finance? Okay, you said base, so maybe he's in some sort of sales, like there's commission. Okay. And he says he'll be receiving incentives and the base pay on top of that, starting from day one. He emphasized that it's not commission, but performance-based compensation. It's kind of the same thing. The incentives are just goals that he has to hit in order to reach that payout. So it could be if you get 25 sales in the month, you get a payout of an extra $10,000, right? It's the same idea. And that if he continues to show up and do a good job, he expects to earn between $120,000 and $140,000 this year. That said, the additional pay is not guaranteed and depends on how well he performs. So it feels a bit unpredictable. Obviously it's a pay structure that benefits the company because they only want to pay you more if you're making more for the company. So, I mean, it happens in certain lines of work. He also has a $10 million trust fund that he shares with his parents, and he will inherit when they pass away. Someone said, Coco said, that's marketing. I love that. That's a good way to put that. That's not really relevant to either of you. What he will inherit when his parents pass away is not money he's dealing with now. And truthfully and honestly, as a man, if you don't learn how to manage your first $1,000 or $10,000 and make it make money, you're not going to be able to manage no $10 million. So like money management is more than just making more money. It's understanding how money works. So that means nothing, basically, is what I'm saying. My concern is he truly ready to be a provider and a husband? I told him I don't want to work anymore, and while I'm falling deeply in love with him, I'm trying to be honest with myself about whether he can support the kind of future I want emotionally and financially. I am divorced and I don't want to do no 50-50 again. Also, this $10 million is an arbitrary number that you have no real way of confirming or denying. It sounds cool, $10 million trust fund, but is it really $10 million? Who knows? Is the $10 million shared between just him or him and all of his other siblings? Right? So I'm not, I don't even think these are questions you need to ask him or get answered by him. I'm just saying it doesn't matter. Like what he's working with is what matters now, not what he could be working with if his parents pass away. Like what? No, don't be banking on that. Right now, he pays for all the dates and gives me about $300 of play money a week. Okay. Or pays for me to do my nails. He offered to take me on vacation and pay for my hair extensions. He also started to look for rings and is saving up for one. How long have you guys been dating? I didn't see it there. Oh, sorry. I was just curious. I'm kind of nervous about the incentive pay. At first, I thought it was like a bonus and got anxious, but he explained it's actually given all year round as an incentive for doing a great job. Also, looking to gather more info on his inheritance. I have one too, but I didn't tell him how much is in here. He told me there is 10 million in there, and the other day after we had pineapples, that's a weird time to tell you, but told me he only has a few $100,000 in his account. How do I get him to explain how the trust fund works? You don't. It's not relevant to you. This information is completely irrelevant to you. It doesn't matter because, if you guys can't get your relationship right, none of the trust fund money matters. And if he's having a money management issue with the money he makes now, the money management issue is going to continue whether he gets $10 million or $10. So it's just not relevant to anything that you guys are doing right now. I don't think you need information on it. It shouldn't change how you feel about him. From your experience, does this sound like a provider with potential, or am I holding on to something that isn't solid enough yet for marriage? Thanks so much for your help. Warmly, Moonshade. P.S. I hate my job. As I mentioned, I want to retire. I work in public education. He's been on board with me retiring. We talked about finishing the school year next year. I just found out that due to budget constraints, I will have classes with 40 plus students that struggle to read. I asked him about retiring mid-year and he said, yeah, maybe. Finishing the school year would probably be better, but maybe. Now I'm confused, Tomisin. Is he really a traditional man or not? Whoa. Okay, wait a second. Wait a second here. Lily Moonshade. I'm trying to see, how long have you, chat, did you see, how long have they been dating? Did I miss that part? Let me see if I can scan here again. Because you're talking about retiring so that he can pay for your life. And I'm trying to figure out, hold on a second here. Okay, you been in a relationship, someone I care about deeply, but you didn't say how long it's been. I'm just, so, you guys aren't married yet, okay? I know that for sure. You guys aren't married. You are betting too much of your future on being with this man, okay? I'm not saying that you wanting to be taken care of is a bad thing, but you're just dating. You realize he can, this is we're in 2025. So he can just send you a text and it's over. You know that, right? So I'm concerned that you're talking about retiring mid-year and there is no paperwork that says you're his wife. He could break up with you tomorrow over text. And you're talking about retiring. So we need to slow your roll and reverse here, because you shouldn't even consider retiring from a damn thing, okay? Until you're married to him. Because then at least there can be some sort of assurance and understanding that we're both on the same page. And like when I stop working, like we're living together, like you're providing for me and like there's an agreement there. Right now, you guys don't have no agreement. You didn't even mention you guys living together. So like, what do you think's okay? Lily Moonshade. If you guys aren't living together, what do you think's gonna happen? Do you think you're going to retire mid-year and then a man who's making $70,000 is going to start paying for your rent and his rent? Like, you asked me a question as a businessman. Someone says it's CAD or USD. Either way, that's unrealistic because let's just go into finance class here. We're going to step into business class 101 for a second. He's 31, okay? No way he could have anything like outside of having an emergency fund, having a few investments, and maybe a couple of small assets. At 31, he has not had enough time and skin in the game to possibly have built up any sort of real portfolio unless, he strikes a magic with something to really have anything solid to stand on. So the reason I'm saying that is because at 31, right, he's still building up his life, building up his assets, building up his net worth. So for him, let's even say on the high end, he's making 140,000 USD a year because you didn't specify where you live. Let's say he's making 140,000 USD per year. Now, right, he's taking that. Obviously, he's got to pay taxes. So depending on where he lives, if he lives in New York, that's automatically cut in half. Okay. So I don't know if this is net or if this is gross. That's number one. Right? So let's assume even still, this is after taxes. This is what he's making. Let's just assume, right? So even still with that, right? He's got to now pay for his own life, his own emergency fund. And then he also has like anything that he wants to do, right? And then he also has to save some money. And now he also has to pay for your life, your emergency fund, because like he's going to have to pay your rent now, pay your car payment, pay any like miscellaneous things that you need as well. And then also have an emergency fund for you and your life in case something comes up as well. So like even in that, just from that, like how is he going to possibly save any money? Like where is his opportunity to save any money there? And if he can't save any money, how is he ever going to get out of the rat race of just hoping that his incentives will cover his like, you know what I mean? Like him paying for you and him. Because the real honest truth about this, if you want to ask me the question as a businessman, as long as he is trading his time for money, he will never escape like the rat race. Meaning like he will always have to work for his money and his money will never be working for him. And he'll never get to the high net worth place that you're looking to have your queen princess treatment, never lift a finger, never work a day in your life. In order for him to get there, he would have to make this amount of money and then save that money so that he can put it towards some sort of business idea that will allow him to start generating income without having to work for it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So adding you as another, I hate to say it like this, but as another bill is only going to make that process a lot harder to be able to do that. At his age and at his time, if he wants to become a millionaire by the time he's 40 or whatever the case may be, right? Scotty just said it. In order to generate passive income, he's going to have to take some of that $140,000 a year and he's going to have to invest it into things that will generate him passive income. But if he's paying for his life and your life totally because you're retired, he won't be able to save that money to do that. Or at the very least, it'll take him a lot longer to do that. So ironically, if he started paying for your life because you retired now, he would end up having to, you would end up more frustrated because you would be in the same position where he's just barely getting by or doesn't have enough money for you to be able to live the lifestyle you want to live for a longer period of time because now he has to pay for himself and you, like in terms of life and living. Okay. So that's number one, right? His salary is projected. What I need to bring in to be stable and retire because it's what my ex-husband and I were making before and he knows it. Okay. Last update. I finally got him to admit he doesn't want me to retire this school year, afraid to get coned into 50-50. No, I just think that like, this is not like right now, it's not feasible financially for you to be retiring and for him to be paying for your life when you just talked about he just got this job. Like, so what job did he have before that? Like, how much money has he really gotten to even save up or do anything with his money? Like, he's still like, I'm not saying he can't do things for you, but I don't think he's in like sugar daddy, spend all his money for you, pay for your apartment vibes. Like, that's like when you're making at least $500,000 a year for a couple of years before you start talking about paying for someone else's apartment. Like, that's not feasible. That's not possible. He said after next year, he will 100% take it all on. That's a lot of responsibility for someone who is just starting to make like six figures. That's too much responsibility, to be honest with you. To be fair, he's been consistent, is talking about his traditional views, and he has followed through by giving and providing in any way he can. Emphasis on in any way he can. However, he blamed me essentially in his explanation for why I couldn't stop working, and it gave me the ick. What? Should I break up with him? No, Lily Moonshine, you have to be a little bit more realistic here. Okay? Your man's not in a bad position. He's not doing bad for himself. But like, if you really want him to level up, you can't right now be an extra burden. And I mean burden in the sense that like, it's one thing to say, oh, he gives me some money to pay for my nails. He takes me out to nice places. And he does his best to pay for things when he can. It's another thing to say, I'm relying on that man to pay my rent, to pay my car note, to pay for anything that I need to get done, anywhere I need to go, my transportation, my food. Like, come on. Like, the man just started making over, like, now he's not even guaranteed over six figures. He just started making money that he could possibly make six figures. He hasn't even gotten a chance to save any of that or put any of that into a side business to make him extra passive income. So one of two things will happen. Either he'll slave himself away like a dog, trying to make this $140,000 a year just so that he can get by and pay for you and him. And then you want to know what will come from that? You'll get none of his time, not a second of his time, right? Because all of his energy will be going into working for this $140,000 a year, because that's all he can do. He needs to support you and him. Now, trust me, I've seen it happen many times. You'll be thinking, all I want is for him to make extra money. I don't care about anything else. I just want to live my princess lifestyle. Then when you're living your princess lifestyle and he has no time to see you, no time to spend with you, and he's completely exhausted because he's spending every ounce of his energy trying to make this $140,000 a year, you'll say, well, I'm mad that you don't spend time with me. I'm mad that even though you pay for stuff, you don't ever take me out anywhere. You're always tired and you don't have time for dates anymore. I'm upset now, right? I'm mad now. So this is the problem. Because since he'll still be trading in his time for money, he'll never be able to take a day off to spend time with you. He'll never be able to relax, to be around you and take you out, and he'll never have any energy, right? Because he'll spend all his energy, trying to work and slave away and make this money at this job. The only way he'll have more time is if he starts generating passive income. The only way he'll generate passive income is if he takes the extra money he's making now and he invests it in places that will generate him passive income. But that can only start if he has extra money. If he doesn't have extra money, he can't start that process. Do you see how that kind of works? And I don't think that this means that you have to break up with him, but I think you need to adjust your timeline here and your expectation here so that he has room for growth. I think you're putting so much pressure on him to be in sugar daddy, make $1 million a year place when he's just not there. And you're putting so much pressure on him to do that and be that. But if the money's just not there, the money's just not there. And I don't think it's for him not trying. I just think that that timeline is not feasible. And if he was paying for all your stuff, you'd be more frustrated because he wouldn't have no time or energy for anything else. And he wouldn't have no way to save money to do anything else with his life other than just work. Okay? Not saying money is a bad thing to be worried about, but I think that you also have to be honest with yourself about what is realistically possible. And also like what he has to do and what his priorities should be. At $140,000 a year, I know it sounds like a lot, but by the time you might be living in New York or live in Miami or one of these bigger cities, and you have all of these different expenses, things add up very quickly. You have taxes. It's not as cut and dry as it seems. And even then, that's an ideal salary for him to be making. That's the top end. So the timeline definitely needs to be adjusted. All right. Let's hop into our next one. Next question. Okay. I see a lot of pineapple emojis. I don't know what to do. Ever since I saw the I'd still hit message, I've not been fully in my complete heart in my relationship. So this is just discussing her and her boyfriend. For those of you unfamiliar with the saga of this story here. Okay, it's very hurtful to me. So what she's referring to is her boyfriend before they started dating was, I think he was referring to like some IG model, and he was sending his boys a message basically saying I'd still hit because she liked one of his pictures or something like that. But this was like before they actually were in a relationship. It's very hurtful to me because I lost my virginity to him. And a month after we had pineapples and became boyfriend and girlfriend, he sent his friend a screenshot of a girl liking his Instagram pictures, and he said, I'd still hit. So, then my timeline's messed up. This was after you guys slept together, and after you guys became boyfriend and girlfriend, he said he'd still hit, referring to his boys about the girl liking his Instagram picture. I haven't been able to forget that. I went through his phone and he hasn't done anything bad since then. The only other bad thing was same week, 8 months ago, he sent a reel of a famous girl saying that she's his type, but she looks like me, so I wasn't too upset. But the whole I'd still hit thing still hurts me a lot, even though he said it 8 months ago. He hasn't done anything bad since then, and I've been keeping it in my heart since I found out it's been hurting me. So today I confronted him about it. He denied it for over an hour, then he finally admitted to it. He said he didn't actually want to pineapple her. He just said it to brag to his friends because she's famous and every guy wants her. And he said that he loves me so much and he's willing to do anything for me. So let me tell you why I think this is a mistake. Before we finish this message, once you tell him that you went through his phone to get information on him and you don't break up with him, now you've basically lost that way of finding out things about him, because now he's going to know you're likely to look through his phone. And what do you think he's going to do? Not keep stuff on his phone. So I'm not saying it was bad for you to confront him about it, especially if it was on your heart, but just know now you're probably not going to see nothing. Especially like even if he was doing something, he's probably, at least most intelligent people would not keep it on their phone. So just know that, like, now he knows, I told him I don't feel comfortable having pineapples with him because of that. And he said that it's fine and he'll never fight me, and he'll fight me forever if he has to. I don't want to stop him from going for her if that's what he actually wants. And I told him to go for her, but he keeps saying that he doesn't want her and he wants me. Well, also, like, he hasn't messaged her since then. He hasn't messaged her at all, sorry. That message was to his boys, but he never acted upon it. So let's keep that in mind. I'm not sure if I want to break up with him, and I told him I need time to think about it. He was telling me how he didn't actually do anything with her, and he rejected her when she texted him. He did, so that's not a lie. So it shouldn't matter that much. I told him that to me, even thoughts or words about pineapples with another girl is cheating. Okay. He said he knows, but we didn't have that convo back then. So he didn't know, but that he hasn't done anything wrong since then. And he promises never to hurt me again. I'm offended because after I told him to block her, it took him a while, saying that she will think we are crazy, etc. So I told him, okay, then keep her and go for her. But then he said he only wants me and he doesn't give a F about her, and then blocked her. We looked up her name on messages. You mean we? Like you guys did it together? It seemed he wanted her 3 years ago as well. I told him to just go for her at that point. He wants to fix things with me, but I don't know if he can. Okay. I'm going to hold my thoughts until the end. I just feel numb, and I have the more numb than I have ever been ever since I saw it. I don't know if he can fix this. It takes me so long to give men a chance. I never expected this from him because of how well he treats me, but now I'm thinking if it's actually worth continuing with him. Okay. He's been there for me and always helps me with all of my problems no matter what. I know he loves me and cares about me, but I can't forget this. I will give him an answer today, so I need your advice. I'm the type of person that loves security and is easily jealous, so I'm not sure if I can ever let this go. I'm also offended because bragging about her liking his post is loser behavior. And while he's busy fanboying over her, I have so many guys fanboying over me. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. You're not going to like what I'm going to say after this. And it's so hurtful because he's been chasing me for over 3 years and he's hurt me now. So I don't know if I ever want to date again because what am I supposed to do? Let a guy chase me for 10 years before dating him so that he doesn't hurt me? Update, he called me and apologized again and told me how much he loves me and he admitted to his wrongs, saying that yes, he's done a few wrongs when we first became boyfriend and girlfriend because it's his real first relationship. But immediately after that, he thought, what am I doing? I have an amazing girlfriend and he stopped doing it on his own. He said that he realized his mistakes and didn't do anything since then. You've also confirmed that because you've looked through his phone and didn't find anything since then. He is saying the truth about this because I saw his phone and he really hasn't done any mistakes since the Instagram reel and the I'd still hit. Also, both of them happened around the same time 8 months ago. He said that his old habits of being a poop person kicked in a tiny bit, but then he thought immediately about after how much he loves me and that he would never want to hurt me, and he stopped it and kept treating me better and better. Do you think I should give him another chance? If I do you think he will do this again? The thing is, I've never met a man I've liked this much before. We are both Middle Eastern. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. You're both Middle Eastern, but different religions. That's what it was. And have the same values and sense of humor and morals, and I'm physically attracted to him. Also, his net worth is over 100 million. What? This whole time, his net worth was over 100 million? Why didn't you should, I guess you were saying that he was rich, but over 100 million is different. Okay. And I've gotten used to the private jets and vacations and princess treatment, etc. So I'm probably never going to accept the lifestyle provided by anyone that makes less than 20 million a year. Okay. We're going to have a conversation here and has different morals. So if I do leave, I'm probably not going to connect with anyone and be single forever. I told him I would tell him my decision in 3 hours. What do you think? Okay. That's a lot of pressure. Okay. Chat. I don't want you guys to hear what I'm gonna say, and the advice I'm gonna give sis is gonna specifically pertain to sis and her specific situation. So this might not necessarily apply to everyone because everyone might not be in this specific situation. I'm gonna have a real conversation with you, sis, for a second. Okay. The chances of you finding a guy who makes $100 million, okay, or has a net worth of $100 million is basically like winning the lottery, okay? I just have to have a real conversation with you. Like, when I say finding a guy, I mean from the standpoint of like, not only is he your type, you're attracted to him, like he wants a relationship, he's single, all the stuff that goes into being in a long-term serious relationship, like the chances of you being with another guy whose net worth is over 100 million is like it's not a lot, okay? I have to be very, very honest with you, okay? We have to start there. So you're saying you want a man, you're not going to accept a man that makes less than $20 million a year, okay? I have to bring you down to earth and be honest with you so that you know what you're getting yourself into. When you say you don't want a man who makes less than $20 million a year, you're narrowing your field and your pool of men down so small, it's like a pin. It's literally a pin in a haystack. Because I want you to really understand what you're saying here, okay? Your desire for a man is for him to make $20 million a year. That's the starter pack. After he makes $20 million a year, he has to be attractive to you, okay? So now we're narrowing down the pool even smaller. He has to be, I'm assuming, within your age range somehow, right? He can't be super old, right? Because you don't want that. You won't be attracted to that guy. So we're narrowing your pool down even more. Now, with all of that, right, $20 million a year, you got to be attracted to him. He can't be super old. You're also probably going to say he can't be super short. So he's got to be like at least 6 foot. I want him to have nice hygiene, nice skincare, right? We take all of that, we narrow down your audience super minute. And then on top of that, we have to say, and I want that man to be single, right? After having all of those amazing qualities. Very small pool of men. Then after we get all of those specifications done and we're down to like the smallest, like maybe like 3-4 men on like that could even be possible for you to date. Now we also have to factor in, does he want to date you and take you seriously? Sis, this is going to be my mature version of relationship advice. Okay. Unfortunately, in life, it's not possible to get everything you want all the time. Whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, there will be certain things about your partner that bother you, that you wish could be different, that would be better if they were this or they were that. What you have to come to realize is there is never a version of life or a version of a relationship that will be so perfect that it will have no problems. So I 100% am with you that what you feel in terms of him sending a message when you guys started dating and saying to his boys, I'd still hit, is very upsetting to you. I am completely 100% with you, and I completely 100% empathize with you and why that is upsetting to you. But I want you to understand that you're also saying in that process that the man made a mistake. You said yourself, this is not me saying this. You said he acknowledged his mistake. He owned up to his mistake. He apologized to me for his mistake. And he hasn't made any mistakes since then. Not only did he say that, but you also have said yourself, you've confirmed you haven't seen anything else since then. And you haven't had any other issues with him since then. And he's been patient with you. He's acknowledged the fact that you're upset, and he's trying to make it up to you, and he wants to make this relationship work. My honest advice to you is if this is the case, you're better off being in the relationship than breaking up with him. Because like I said, the chances of you finding this $20 million a year man, but then him, I'll just be real with you. Majority of men who make $20 million a year and are attractive and have all the pick of the women that they can have, they do not take accountability in relationships. I have to have a real conversation. If a man is already making 20 million a year, I just have to be real with you. And he's an attractive man with lots of options. He can go wherever he wants, do whatever he wants. Majority of those men cannot be held accountable in a long-term serious relationship because they know that so many women want them and they have so many options to them that there's no point ever being accountable in a relationship. I'm trying to be super real with you. I'm not saying that there aren't married men who make over $20 million a year, but most of them are with the woman that they were with before they started making $20 million a year. Most of the men who are already there in that place in their life are not looking to be in an exclusive, one-on-one relationship with one woman. I have to be very honest with you. So the reason I'm trying to point all that out to you is I think the most important part that you should be focusing on right now is intention. Does he have intention of being with you? Has he shown you that he cares? Has he been accountable in this relationship? And is he trying at least to make adjustments on the mistakes that he's made and not just making the same mistake over and over and over again? I honestly, from what you've told me, the answer to all of those questions are yes. So if that's the case, I think you're better off working this out with him. I'm not saying go back to him and be like, everything's fine, whatever, I'm not mad anymore. But have a conversation with him and help him understand that this behavior is unacceptable so that you can hold him accountable and he can understand that you mean business. And it's not like, oh, you just came back because you need him, right? And he understands that he did a wrong thing and he's going to have to work his way back into your good graces. But I think that it's worth working out because the alternative is not that grass is not as green as you're imagining. I just can't. I don't want to send you, into the wild, thinking that you're just going to be able to go and randomly come across a $20 million a year man that is going to be accountable. I have to be super real, super honest with you. I know I'm a guy. I know I'm talking to all of you that are women, but I can't give you a scenario that I know myself is not realistic. I know men with high net worths. I know men who are young, attractive, with high net worths. They are not accountable in the slightest. Okay? At least majority of them, right? The only ones that are really are already in relationships because they're with the girl they've been with for many years. I just have to be real with you. So if this guy is really putting his best foot forward here and trying his best to be accountable and trying his best to show up for you in the relationship and apologizing for his mistakes and taking action upon that, and you're seeing consistency from him after those mistakes were made, I think this is worth working out and figuring out. And I don't think it's something where you need to should not be in a relationship with him anymore because of a message he sent to one of his boys. On top of the fact he didn't even talk to the girl. On top of the fact, even when the girl talked to him, he denied her still. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, chat. That's the show for today. For those of you who have a question for me, I know I didn't get a chance to go to the free section, but I do have to run. And I will get to the free section on the next show for sure. Okay? All right. For those of you who want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is just above my head on the top left corner of the screen. It is Tomisin_Tub. It's also in the link in my bio. For those of you who want to follow me on Instagram, for those of you who came late and missed parts of the show, you can just go up on top there. It's my name on YouTube, Tomisin, Tomisin. You go to my YouTube channel if you're watching this on TikTok, and then you go to the live section. You'll be able to see this live stream and all the other live streams I've done since the beginning of time. And then you'll be able to see the YouTube and TikTok live chat embedded in the video. So you'll see all the conversation that was happening there throughout the stream. All right. I'm here every week, Monday and Thursday. So I'll be here again next week on Monday. So until we meet again on Monday live, I will be posting on my YouTube channel pre-recorded videos that aren't from live streams. So until we meet again via live stream, I bid you adieu, hasta la vista, sayonara, adios, ciao, salam, arrivederci. I think I said them all. Yeah, said them all. Bon voyage! And I'll see you again. I say adios? I said adios. I'll see you again on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? I love you so much. So much, okay? Have a great weekend. I didn't even end the stream. That's crazy. That's so crazy. I was always thinking one day, I won't end the stream properly, and then you guys will be watching me like up until the end. That's so funny. That is actually hilarious. Today's that day. Okay, have a great rest of your weekend, chat.